вопросов насущных. Это прежде всего, наверное, фавориты этой гонки, ну и лузера. Было бы неплохо разобраться, кто у нас первым отлетит. Ну, сегодня мы, наверное, навряд ли поймем, да, кто это будет, но наверняка какие-то уже коллективы мы сможем выделить как слабые.
Ой, вы знаете, радости нет границ, потому что я столько ночей не спал, рассматривая все, что у нас предстоит на этом турнире. И только ваши лица меня подкрепляют, и наконец-то вот это начинается, потому что давно не было тир-1 Counter-Strike у нас, и лучшие команды действительно сегодня соберутся.
Давно не было вообще РМР-турниров, друзья. Это же просто невероятно. Коронавирус, он все испортил во всем мире. И в том числе мы не видели давно мажоров. Мы видели РМР-турниры, но они уже имеют меньше влияния, очки, которые команды заработали. И вот первый РМР-турнир за такое долгое время, в 2021 году. Это очень круто. Я не знаю, что ожидать от команд. Я вот только с тобой не соглашусь. Мне кажется, что как раз фаворитов и лузеров в этот раз будет выделить немножко сложнее. Саш, ты как думаешь?
Ну, тут еще стоит учитывать, что, в принципе, уровень соревнования-то повышается с каждым разом, потому что это РМР. И, например, у меня
Welcome to Flashpoint 3. Like a beautiful butterfly, we have emerged from our cocoon as a European RMR event. We are proud to be hosting the first qualifier for the major happening in Stockholm in November. These shots of Paris that you're seeing right now, well, that's because our first match today is going to be a French showdown up between Double Pony and Vitality. Very exciting, some up-and-coming players on Double Pony coming up against the French powerhouse from last year in Vitality. So exciting times. However, we are not in Paris. We're just looking at these lovely shots of it. We are here in Los Angeles. The teams will be competing online in Europe over the course of Flashpoint 3. And we have quite a huge tournament. It is going to be a 16-team double elimination bracket. Made Madness, bringing some American sports flair over to the European scene. And I am Monte Cristo. I will be your host today, and joining me on the desk are Maui Snake and Lex. Lex, new to Flashpoint, welcome.
Glad to be here, man.
Maui Snake somehow still here.
I just keep getting by, just skating on by.
Just skating on by.
They can't get rid of me if they tried.
All right. So thank you guys very much for joining us. We are going to be getting into our first game shortly. Starting today, we do have Double Pony versus Vitality in our first match in the round of 16 here. However, later on, we have what is going to be a very spicy and hype matchup going between OG and the new look Astralis. OG on the rise right now, and Astralis may be struggling a little bit, but they are looking to defend their major title from a couple of years ago right now. So let's take a look at some of our social media here on Flashpoint. If you guys want to go ahead and follow us on Twitter, you can go ahead and do that at Flashpoint. We will be posting regular updates throughout this European RMR event. Also, please use the hashtag FlashpointCSGO if you want to be included in the stream. Maybe we'll be featuring some of those tweets if you're especially clever over the course of this event. So thank you very much for that. And we are going to be talking about this matchup right away. Let's get into the thick of it. And let's go ahead and start with Double Pony, because I feel like Vitality maybe needs no introduction with the skill of ZywOo, but Double Pony, well, they're going to be the up-and-coming French stars, though they still have some staples of the French scene with NBK moving over to OG. But starting with Double Pony, is there something that really excites you about this Double Pony roster, Lex?
I think the return of NBK to this roster, you know, on the quest for the major, you hope to make it to Stockholm at some point. You've got, you know, some young talent with a new roster that Body has assembled. I think this is absolutely a situation where they want to find themselves in, where the opening matchup, you've got Kyojin kind of struggling on Vitality so far, and so, you know, to kick the event off, I think Double Pony's going to give us a show today.
Your thoughts, Maui, watching this team come into the event? Now, they did come in through our qualifiers.
Yeah.
So they fought their way here. They were not invited based on the RMR points that we had carry over from last year when the major didn't happen. So this is a team that deserves to be here based on the merits that they showed in the qualifiers. There's something that stood out to you about them?
Just the perseverance that they showed. I mean, this team went all the way from the open qualifier, like you mentioned, beating out LDLC there, and then just barely squeaking into that 5th place slot, actually. And Double Pony, I mean, they're kind of punished for it, facing what is supposed to be the #1 seed in Vitality. They have the most RMR points going into this event, and so Double Pony are going to be having to face some Titans, but I think this is actually a fairly doable game. I think Lex probably maybe, I think we're both kind of in the camp that this is possible.
It's our opening match.
Yeah.
You guys are already trolling betting against ZywOo here. But as we look at Vitality, as spectacular as their performance was last year, they have hit potentially a little bit of a slump in more recent times. Maui, what would you attribute that slump to?
I think Vitality had a really rough period where Apex was kind of leaving the team. There was a couple weeks where he said he was going to take off. He ended up only leaving for a match. It was a really kind of a shaky spot for them. And actually, all of the players on that team just felt like they were performing so inconsistently. We saw ZywOo's worst game ever, actually, on Overpass. We saw a couple of the players just fall off in ways that we don't really expect. Even RPK having to now be removed from the team and then bringing in the young player in Kyojin. There's just so many questions when you're looking at this Vitality roster, and right now it feels like they're still trying to find their identity once again. How are they trying to craft it?
I mean, I think you bring up a good point, you know, just in the fact that they are not necessarily in their finest form and they're not as powerful as they could be in terms of what we know and think of when we describe Vitality as being the #1 seed here. But beyond that, I mean, I think Monty actually brings up another point, which is you're a fool if you're betting against ZywOo. So, you know, consider me one, but at the end of the day, I think this is Double Pony. They have a real shot, and I'm excited to get into it.
Well, a broader topic of conversation is just that many teams have made roster changes coming into this event in preparation for this being the start of the major cycle. Vitality is no different, recently bringing in Kyojin to this roster, which we'll touch on in just a little bit. But, you know, players taking time off. We've seen that from a variety of teams. Teams trying to really finalize, because now there is this light at the end of the tunnel in Counter-Strike. We're no longer in this limbo period of, is there going to be the next major? When exactly is that going to happen? The date has been set. It is happening in Stockholm later this year. And so now's the time where the teams are really going to buckle down. And many teams that were slumping previously, if it was a motivation issue, well, that should be solved starting here at Flashpoint 3 because everybody's all in going into the major.
For sure. Them replacing RPK with Kyojin is a move that, in a sense, like you said, it's them solidifying their roster, but at the same time, it kind of draws this question of just, did Vitality really need to do that? And I feel like there's always going to be a little bit of them looking back at those past results, those past championships, and then thinking, did we make the right move? And I think this tournament has to be where Vitality shows that they do trust this new budding star.
Yeah, and you got to think of the amount of pressure that's on his shoulders right now, not just to perform for his own career's sake, but beyond that, you know, this is, as stated, this is this is the road to the major at this point for Vitality. And so, you know, you think about the possibilities of him performing at a tier 1 level and actually being consistent with it. That is the challenge and the expectation for a guy like Kyojin. And, you know, quite frankly, he hasn't lived up to that so far. So if this is going to be the starting point for Vitality's road to that point, you got to wonder whether or not he was the right choice for them and whether or not it's going to lead to some inconsistent results moving forward.
Well, we've got to get straight into this game, but first we need to do the veto process here. So we'll lean on you guys for your insight into this matchup and how you think this is going to play out between these two teams. So let's pull up our pick and ban here for the map, and we can discuss how this thing is going to start. So with our vetoes, what are you expecting to see the first vetoes from each of these teams?
Yeah, well, given that Ancient is not in the pool for this event, of course, Vitality should still be banning out Train. It's always been their permaban. And then Double Pony, they generally have been banning Mirage in basically every qualifier that they have played thus far.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of going through the map picks bans, expecting D2, Inferno, Nuke, something along those lines. Definitely not going to see Train. Overpass would be maybe the question mark of whether or not we'd see it here in this matchup. So, you know, moving into the first bans, you got to expect those too.
Yeah, and it does look like Double Pony will be going with their consistent ban of Mirage. I mean, there's no real surprise there, actually, as that's just been their consistent factor in pretty much every match they've played. And I think if we look at Vitality's ban, I really doubt that it's anything but Train. I think that's just a guarantee here. And, yep, there it is. So for the picks, Double Pony has been going with a little bit of Dust 2 here and there. I've seen them play some Nuke, like a little bit of Inferno here and there. But I'm thinking kind of Dust 2 or Nuke, Lex. What have you got?
I mean, it really just comes down to, if I'm Double Pony in this scenario, right? Like, you've keyed in on maybe the weaknesses are Kyojin, and maybe the new roster isn't necessarily gelling as it should. So you have to maybe think about which maps Vitality is going to be weakest on with Kyojin, and which, you know, you look at the VODs, you're checking out your opponents, trying to do some maybe anti-stratting, preparing for this matchup. And, you know, I got to think they're going to zero in on maps where they're going to be able to exploit that the most. And, you know, I think if the maps left in the pool, maybe something like a Nuke or an Overpass, but we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like we got...
Already in front of us, never mind.
we got the Nuke, Inferno, and Vertigo is a little bit curious as a decider. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about that if we actually get there, but the new pick, like you were saying, Lex, I actually think that that's a pretty cool and bold pick for Double Pony, because that's saying to Vitality that we think we can actually outplay you tactically. That's not, it's just not going to be us relying on our young stars, our young guns, but we're actually going to target your players. And I think when we both looked at the games for Vitality, I mean, Kyojin left a lot to be desired on this map.
Something that I think actually plays into Double Pony's favor, not just, you know, maybe having Kyojin being a weak asset for Vitality on Nuke, but their T-side executes, and they've demonstrated some real competency when it comes to, you know, higher level play. I think Body's IGLing really is going to play into a factor here where maybe they're going to be not just tactically sound on Nuke, but just kind of compounding that factor where we're talking about being able to exploit the weaknesses of Vitality.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're ready to go into game, guys, but first what we have are our sponsor ads here for Unicorn, our official betting partner. So you can see the line right there on the screen. Heavy favorites for Vitality, as it should be.
Yeah.
Right, as it should.
As reasonable people should.
Very, very long odds. But you know what? I know who loves long odds. And, well, the under, you know, maybe putting their weight behind the under pony, as it were. That's Mr. James Bardolph, who I'm pretty confident is going to be going for Double Pony here. We are going to get into our predictions, and joining us on the desk will be Bardolph and Launders to bring you our first match. Where are you guys at with your predictions on this first match?
Sense to go for Vitality, but you know what? We've both been fully vaccinated. Our god now is Mr. Bill Gates, and because of that, you know, everything's going crazy over here. So I'm going with double pony.
I switched up like last minute because I saw their hype trailer on Twitter. Changed my prediction from Vitality to double pony just because they made me laugh.
Yeah, their video was absolutely amazing. Also, I don't know about you guys, but my phone reception's never been better since I got vaccinated.
Yeah, my 5G.
Since you've been
I
vaccinated,
got 5G
now
just by being near him.
Girls are talking to me again.
Officially a Wi-Fi hotspot now, James.
Yeah, I think I've got like a downlink blinking behind my shoulder. You know?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything.
I actually
didn't know you
wouldn't
knew about it.
mind that. I would be able to go into the wilderness and really still get full reception.
That would be fantastic.
The dream. The dream.
That's why we all got vaccinated, isn't it? I thought that's the literature I was reading, at least.
All right, you guys have early predictions for me. I'm going with Vitality. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Vitality as well. I feel like they, even though double pony, there's some up-and-comers. Woohoo! Like, I mean, come on.
I love
We're talking about
plucky
ZywOo.
young French team.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking
Could
about
you just do that
ZywOo
woohoo
here.
again for me?
Yeah,
It's too much
woohoo one more
experience
time.
with Vitality for me.
For me, honestly, it's 1 a.m. last night. I'm sleep deprived. I'm doing the VOD reviews, and I'm just watching this double pony team, and I'm impressed. And
That's the delirium kicking in.
You don't have to be delirious to pick double
sleepness,
pony.
delirium.
That was his argument.
For me to have sent the email out that says I'm picking double pony today. There it is. Final answer. Double pony's winning this.
All right, well, to bring you all the action in our French face-off here, it is going to be Bardolph and Launders. Let's get into the match.
First, we have to say grace to our brother Bill Gates. No, we don't really.
Amen.
Let's get into this. We're going to be starting on
Later,
Nuke,
Melinda.
of course. I'm really looking forward to seeing this double pony. In terms of like, I think form is really important. If you look at the stats on how many games, how many maps they've been playing recently, they've been really racking up the numbers, as a new team needs to do. Vitality been quiet of late, so they may be cold starters into this one. They'll be starting on the CT side, Vitality, here on Nuke.
They managed to win the knife round despite knifing each other in the knife round.
Yeah, Apex stabbed 2 of his teammates in a knife round, and yet they start on a CT side.
Instilled confidence in the whole team.
Very interesting indeed. And Apex will, of course, be towards main for the time being. Body quickly making his way over with the Glock. Apex has fallen back. He's got plenty of sound because we've got smokes towards the Hell position. On he goes. Apex now has got some high ground advantage with one of his teammates, but trying to find his first kill here, and there it is. Afro taken down towards Secret. Lucky NBK and Body remain man disadvantage for now. Almost a trade of positions as we've got MBK holding down the ramp area. Shox gets one tap to that P250. But there are more players on B to be dealt with.
That was an interesting line to get inside of Hell, jump through the window. But once it happened, because they got the other 2 kills, it becomes this giant lurk battle now. And MBK has to make something happen. He's on to somebody, but there's also a timing here for Apex. Apex wins that duel, and quickly we're into the 2v3. More lurking still going on, though, as the CTs try to reclaim some map control.
Plenty of time remaining, considering how fast Double Pony started this one. Body up the ladder. Lucky's really important now as he is the bomb carrier. Plenty of players around the A bomb site just looking to land something. 2 in the red for Vitality, so Lucky is not going to be unlucky on this occasion. ZywOo starting well. Body taking some damage, but this is still clutchable just based on how much health 2 of these 3 players have. You can see Apex will be the last man standing downstairs. 19 seconds now, really got to find these kills. Finally, ZywOo eliminated, but there's one right behind him. Off the bomb plant, he's got to commit to it now, surely. Going for the fake again, Apex down, and now it's just Kyojin, 19 HP. Commits this time, Body. Bomb is planted. Kyojin on the way. Got to be real careful. And there it is, the clutch from Body. Didn't see that one coming, but again, low health was the problem there for Vitality.
Man, that couldn't have been more well played. I mean, the way he isolated the fights, and then, first of all, bomb gets dropped, but it's because someone goes up in heaven and sees 2 in front of the vent and realizes that this is a chance to get a kill before you put the bomb down. So he takes that risk. But when it gets to the 1v3, you think, all right, there is just no way you can do this. Even though 2 players are low, they can cover so many angles. It's going to be hard to get a plant. Body sections out those fights so well. I mean, that couldn't have been done better by him. And ZywOo was pretty much the only one that could have stopped that coming up the vent. And he had the worst rotation. So that's very impressive. I mean, I'm feeling very good about my double pony pick at this point.
Yeah, that was a great start. Lead by example. Vitality tried to keep the numbers alive. Even the bait setup in the hut position, just one player showing there for Vitality.
And they reduce outside and then go for that wrap towards Hell, and it goes into the 3v3, and then suddenly it's no longer about the game plan. Clearly at first it was try to sneak body into Hell, knowing they might be up in heaven, and then see what happens. But like they try to do that, CTs get the first 2 kills outside, and things go south. So none of that round was planned for and could be accounted for. They still managed to find a way out.
Got a rare UMP from Lucky. Somewhat gone missing, that weapon, since the damage drop-off was increased. Masuta gets popped in A, and here come the numbers for Double Pony. 2 rifles in tow as well, and likes of Body and NBK. A rare MP5 from Afro. MP7 is better by most accounts. Of course, there are no traces with the silence weapon, so spraying through smokes is something. But other than that, the MP7 is pretty solid in comparison.
Yeah, it's also a bit expensive though, James.
It is indeed.
Costs a lot.
More armor penetration, if I'm not mistaken, with the MP7.
And, I mean, the MP5 doesn't hit like it used to. I mean, the 1.6 MP5, it had different, it just felt different, felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like a more substantial weapon.
There was more like kickback on the recoil or something, so it felt like more involved when you'd shoot.
You know the UMP-45 is the successor to the MP5.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, in real life?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's got the tactical stock, the tactical folding stock, but indeed the UMP is, you know, prior to the MP5 being introduced.
Ever since you started coming to America, you just learned so much about weapons.
Yeah, I've had a lot. I've been to a lot of ranges, so yeah, that was pretty interesting stat actually.
Okay, so it's a good start here for Double Pony with the 2 rounds, and you know, confidently won on that last one as well. So they'll keep on to some of these SMGs, and it looks like they're going to keep the tempo high. Squeaky gets blown open. They'll put some pressure onto Hut. That's a scout pressed up outside, but it's actually not a full commit upstairs. Instead, they're going to slow it down even more, and they get Apex to commit to a peek, and that's a kill. Will this spur them on?
Ooh. So far, so good from Shox. Trying to reset the situation, find some more headshots. Saibu considering making a play, but I think things slowed down enough for him to fall back. Kyojin lost in the meantime. Saw that early execute with grenades into the mini position from Double Pony, which funnily enough, Apex used to be a victim of that versus the classic versus pro team many moons ago. I actually made a video of him eating those double grenades like 5 years ago. You can find them.
He just has no scar tissue though. Just loves playing that spot.
Absolutely, yeah, beautiful face. Beautiful face on that man.
Yeah.
Well, there were 3 weapons saved from Vitality, including that Deagle on Shox from the round prior. So this is still dangerous. Masuta with some nice damage there. Body just about holding on. Time starting to get low, and Vitality look to be concentrating their efforts towards the A-bomb site here.
I like this point. Yeah, it is decision time, and he's Zaibu's putting pressure now. There's still 3 up, 30 seconds. They should be all good. It's small chance. I mean, of course, it's Zaibu, so you're going to give him a moment to just see what he wants to do with the round, but he doesn't get the kill. They end up getting the frags, and it's all good. But you start to get past that point. The only issue of being inside Hut around that time marker is that if you are going under the 30-second mark, then it becomes obvious you are going to hit upstairs. That's the real issue, that suddenly it's clear that they can't even try to go down lower. If you have info on 2 players who are just in ramp or whatever, it becomes obvious. So I think you are like right on the nose with that. They just had to make a decision, and luckily the kills came to them.
So we can see that Double Pony broke the glass into the A-bomb site very early on. Maybe trying to bait out some utility from Vitality early on here. For the Molly's come and gone. So if they are to have a double pump in a bomb site, then we'll see how Vitality are able to deal with things. That'll certainly help the smoke of the squeaky door.
I think they're ready to just try again. It looks like they have a flash still outside, though Afro's now starting to come back. It looks like they popped the flash and they didn't go through the exec because the late squeaky smoke came down from the CT side. So whether or not Vitality know it, this might have saved them, but it seems like they're onto it. They're re-smoking Squeaky once again, and Double Pony looked like they were geared up to try it. And here's the point at which, even if it doesn't actually have an effect on what the decision is for Double Pony, they're scared because they don't have outside control. They haven't tried anything else. So now they're starting to think, why are we so obvious? Squeaky is going to get re-smoked again.
Well, Double Pony have 2 smoke grenades, and it looks like they were maybe considering going to T-spawn to get a wall of smoke outside. but they quickly turn things around. They need to show some presence somewhere else just to try and weaken the defenses on the A bomb site, which is the here. And down goes Shocks on the ramp, so they could search towards that bomb site now. ZywOo deleted as well, and that is a great pair of entries from Double Pony. 24 seconds to plant the bomb. Apex has to concentrate on the payload here. He's got to take out the bomb carrier. There he is. Buying some time for Steve now, but can he stay alive? No. The trade is here from Afro. That leaves Kyojin in the wrong place at the wrong time. 10 seconds, nothing he can do.
What better round is there to describe like the form that Vitality are in right now, where at the moment it feels like, okay, that's just a strong call. They clearly knew Squeaky was the point of attack for whatever reason. The tell was there, the fake exact, they read into it, and then they committed hard to constantly stopping that. And they get Double Pony to go back outside because to get them scared, to make them think they need to go out for map control or try something new. And then they get Shocks to even push into ramp because they know that for sure all these guys are still in lobby. They come down into the ramp. Shocks can't win his duel versus the MAC-10. They lose the second entry downstairs. And it's like, you know, you can give Vitality points for showing the work. They knew exactly what to do, but they didn't actually have the solution. Their aim wasn't there. They couldn't actually stop any of the entries. It was just frictionless getting downstairs. And even if they had gotten one kill, we could even talk about a retake. We could even talk about, you know, Apex getting into a better spot downstairs. But both ZywOo and Shocks failed just on the mechanical level. And you can't even talk about that now. As Apex, it's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah. CT spawn so much further up than it used to be on Nuke. This map has had so many changes. The rafters outside disappearing. Somebody was, there was a player who was tweeting recently asking for those to come back, actually. I forget who it was. Maybe we'll get some opinions on the current state of the map a little later on. We've got some plans here from Double Pony, it seems, and a lot of Desert Eagles to try and stop them. Apex has a look, completely blind though, and deleted by Joko, makes his way through. Second kill for him, so far so good. And Kyojin again is left with the M4A4. Not much able to really contribute to this round. Really needs to try and hold on to the money if he can. Every dime will help Vitality as they look for their first round on the CT side of Nuke.
Man, we're almost meeting our quota, you know, of T-side rounds. It's such a good half already. They have rounds to work with, and because they won that last rifle round so clean, they've got so much money left over on all these players. They can just try stuff in these following rounds, and that's the scariest thing for Vitality at this point. That, you know, they've lost a round with the correct read. They clearly, you know, Double Pony are getting confidence. Now you can even try the same stuff and still not see success. So the pressure is really mounting, and I'm quite happy to see this game in particular because Kyojin's demos, the first demo I watched from him was him on Nuke replacing RPK, because that was my most kind of familiar position for him. And you know, he's up there in the back of the site trying to hold it down, but looked quite nervous in that first game, but is a player who has shown so much promise from before in his all these amazing frag movies he has on YouTube. Like, he clearly has such a high ceiling, but hasn't realized it just yet. And you know, I found that him and Masuda playing upper, it almost felt like I don't want to use this term exactly, but you know, the blind leading the blind, in the sense that there was not much leadership upstairs, and it clearly felt like they weren't playing off each other correctly. But I think it's necessary for Masuda to really take the charge because he is the more experienced player at this point.
Well, ZywOo expecting a similar start from Double Pony will punish them for doing so. Are a few smokes outside from Double Pony as well, but he had the right spawn for the job there. And he has announced his presence. That'll slow down Double Pony for now, but they're looking to make an entry. Oh, Lucky's gone deep in towards CT Vent, but to no avail. 5 versus 2. This is exactly the kind of round that Vitality needed. They need players alive and rounds. As Double Pony, you can see Afro's got almost $10,000, so the pressure will remain high. Second AWP is announced in the hands of Shocks. We'll drop a smoke and leave Afro alone now. Again, it's about just keeping those numbers high, limiting the damage for Vitality, as they need every penny, and that is a perfect round. Almost no damage, actually no damage at all. Kyojin just taking some damage at the end there.
I'm a big fan of when you have a lead like this to like throw caution to the wind, trying to keep the momentum high, see if you can get away with another fast round. Because I feel like it's the least dignified way to lose, when, you know, someone just barges into your site or it just goes for something quick and then still dumpsters you, even though you were prepared for at least that part. So I think it's all good for Double Pony to try a round like that. They still got rounds to work with. Vitality are still going to be on full alert. They've got, an expensive buy here with the 2 ops they need to protect. And this means that Double Pony, I think, are still going to be feeling very good at this moment. And right now can almost get away with anything.
Now Double Pony know that Vitality have 2 AWPs. I do wonder if they'll go for some kind of counter. If their next play will be based on that. Oh, you got to love those angles.
That is targeted. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got to be real careful about being around that blue box.
So important to go through with those spams sometimes because everyone's human, right? Like everyone's got their favorite spots that they play, and you're almost always going to find them there 1 out of 3 rounds. So like if you can go for that spam safely, why not try it? And you'll be hard pressed to see MBK trying that spot in the first 30 seconds in any of these next rounds coming up.
Smokes have been deployed outside. Double Pony know that there are still 2 AWPs lurking. And we reach the sub 50-second mark. NBK loses the duel to Kyojin. We got a very well-timed Molotov as well, but Kyojin has been traded. Man advantage for Double Pony. Does Lucky go in first with such little HP? Try and create space for the team. Indeed, he does, and here they are. There's a trade once again. Smoke up on main. Zaiwu trying to find an edge here. Bombs being planted. Joker by CT vent. Almost, but not quite. And again, not the round Vitality needed. Oof. They haven't really built their money too great just yet. We can see Zaiwu's got 1,400. If Shocks can hold on to this AWP, then maybe they can get a reasonable buy. Most of them can full buy in the next round, so it's really crucial he's able to hold on to this.
Yeah, they were just, carrying diamonds this round with the 2 ops, so they got to keep him alive. And I mean, Shocks knows this round's not even over for him. They're going to quietly try to excavate outside and see about his favorite save positions without losing too many members, and he does not want to take a duel. He wants to go full pacifist, tuck in a corner and wait, and it looks like they kind of pass. There's no duel that comes about, so this is nice for Vitality at least. But here's a round where, okay, you have on the one hand, Kyojin gets a kill and a half, which is a reasonable hold overall. Would have been better to get 2, of course, and then die, but his teammate doesn't get 1, and then everything falls like a house of cards. And it's just A-site being this point of attack for Double Pony working out so well. It just, again, has to be incredibly discouraging for Vitality because strategically, there's not a whole lot going on there when it comes down to an upper hold. The CTs have an advantage with 2, but a really strong site exec and 1 player, not putting up their end of the bargain frag-wise can just ruin everything. So as long as there is a weakness there, I can see why Double Pony want to keep going towards it. Now they've got this lurk strat with Body rushing his way down into Secret, taking over control of it. But Afros here set up the same flash for when they wanted to try to do that upper bust with Squeaky involved. And it feels like Vitality kind of get the inkling that this might be a similar fake to before. They re-smoke Squeaky. They're playing it cool. They're not over-rotating, and they definitely haven't rotated too many down inner. I think that's the best sign for them.
Oh, Apex caught on the reload. That would have been a kill otherwise, and somehow Body's still alive, trying to draw players towards this B bomb site, but only 1 player's been spotted, really harassing, opening the door as well. We'll see if there's a rotation. In the meantime, NBK's picked off Masuta on the A bomb site. We have an AWP on the high ground, move to the low, straight in the head through the wall from Zaiwu as well. Looking for the trade fraggers moving around a Squeaky position, but he's got Kyojin up high with 2. Vitality turning things around again. Smoking off the choke point. They have control of the bomb as well. 45 seconds for Double Pony to do some more damage. They still have a full buy in the hole. NBK really needs to try and do what he can here.
It looked like they might have found an opening, but like you mentioned it right away, they only saw 1 person down lower. So as cool as it was, that Body actually got around the corner. Now it's like, oh no, we let him go free. We've got to take into account for that. They didn't see anybody else downstairs, so they didn't make that hasty rotation, and that just meant that Vitality could focus down upstairs. Another good round from Kyojin here. He actually gets 2 full-on this time around, and this is even though Masuda has died, and he's definitely failed a couple of times in holding kind of on Squeaky. But this is also a moment where, Zaiwu really has to just make a committed rotation. He just comes upstairs, tries to fill in for his fallen teammate on the upper site, and just be like, I know you're coming here. Apex is giving me some good information. I'm going to focus down on Hut. Kyojin, you can watch Squeaky from the top of Hut, and we have upper on lock.
Okay, so there was an option for damage for NBK, but there was also an AWP, which could be the golden egg. Chooses to pick that one up instead, save the team some money. And off they go. 6-2. Vitality still looking to stabilize their economy.
What's the strat you call here, James? T-side.
Ooh.
Pick of the litter, really.
Yeah, I think partly they might look at spawns and so on. maybe go for a cheeky peek in Squeaky. It doesn't happen on this occasion, then it will be a much faster play, actually, trying to catch him off guard, and indeed they will do exactly that. 2 massive kills in the A bomb site. Apex looking for the transfer, not the one he wanted, though. 3 on 2 now, and it's still a chance for ZywOo, but Body has just got the spray in time. Shox now 1 versus 3.
Oh, they full on disrespect that Squeaky smoke. Comes through, they don't worry about it. They come out hut first, and they just come through with this tempo you just don't expect it. Almost every single time they waited so long.
Looks like he's going for it. We'll see if he's offered anything. Can he get a 1v1? Can see some jump peeking. Not sure if he can hear that from his position. Possibly. Not looking for it just yet. He doesn't. Oh, he does have a defuse kit, actually. But I don't think he's going to be given what he wants unless he goes to the point of no return. So he may be hiding in plain sight here. But indeed, a change of pace. Very successful for Double Pony. Again, they've gone for the double pumps or threats of double pumps into that A bomb site. But here they just charge straight in.
It feels like they're just like targeting upper over and over again. And I think also focusing more so towards Kyojin with a lot of hut presence early on, where I think most teams favor pressuring Squeaky as much as possible because of how annoying it can be to hold. But Vitality have put a lot of resources into making sure to smoke Squeaky repeatedly early on in rounds. And Kyojin overall, I think, has done a pretty decent job in general. I mean, overall, of course, everyone seems to be struggling a bit, but not too bad from what we've seen already from his previous games. But it feels like they're definitely trying to take advantage of the fact that this is another high-pressure match for him, and he's new to the team, and he hasn't been amazing in this spot.
Double Pony, 71% on Nuke with 24 maps played in the last 3 months. Vitality sitting at 56% with 9. But across the board, Double Pony have just been playing so much more CS recently than Vitality. And again, I think form, you can take a read into that. Vitality probably coming in a bit colder than their opponent, but we'll see as the best of 3 plays out how that will go. You can see the map picks at the top of the screen.
Oh, I know exactly. I mean, even if they're not playing of quality teams, they're playing more.
Yeah.
And that just matters. And these other teams are very good too in the tier 2.
So oiling the machine at WD-40.
Right. Looks like it's coming again.
There's a pop flash. There's a counter pop flash from Kyojin trying to delay the troops, but the numbers game is coming through. Afro with a great start, and they just can't find the kills on this A bomb site. ZywOo's got to do more. So far, so good. He's found 2. Got a 3rd one on the way, but Joko will deny him and take his head off his shoulders. Still doable for Vitality. Shox and Apex, 1 kit between them. Apex on the ladder doing what he can. That's the bomb carrier as well. The fadeaway with the HE grenade, and Shox is in position now. 2 on 2. Apex still alive. The bomb's been dropped and Body's on the flag. Almost messes up the spray. Spots Apex as well. 1v1. Apex has to win this one. They've got no money otherwise, but he can't. Body again, making it 8-2. A monstrous T-side for Double Pony so far.
No way he finds that headshot coming out of heaven, and that's Apex with a full flash. And honestly, shout out to Apex. It looked kind of stupid, standing on the ladder, shooting as much as he could, but he was such a nuisance to him. They couldn't kill him. They knew that he could pop out a Squeaky at any point, and they also knew that the CTs were desperate and that he was going to try at some point. So he did such a good job of getting some damage in, applying pressure, and also using all of his utility. Even his nade from the ladder did damage to help his player in heaven coming in to get the kill, and then eventually, through the flash to blind Body, but Body again, lucky to find that final headshot in that last moment and pull that round back from Double Pony. I mean, that moment almost made ZywOo the messiah, standing there right behind the molly, getting the 2 kills. If he got the 3rd, it would have been a lock. But this is all in spite of the fact that we had an abysmal upper hold once again. Kyojin, Masuda, no kills between the 2 of them. For Kyojin, the molly lands beside him. He pushes towards hut, just gets opt instantly. So again, it just feels like they're targeting him.
This is going to be a very interesting round. Vitality have got 2 auto shotguns, so they're going to have to play up close. Obviously, the auto shotgun's got a better spread, but no spread needed for ZywOo. Just 1 bullet. Off he goes. Oh, there's another one. Repositioned so fast. Oh my god, he's absolutely destroying them, ZywOo. 2 more to find. Joko and Lucky.
Oh man, he's just covering his options here.
Wouldn't want to be Joko.
No kidding. Feels like his days are limited. Oh.
There's a flank as well, so even if he corners... Oh my god, he's ready for it, Joko, but ZywOo looking for his 5th now. Lucky wants to be anywhere but there. He has to retrieve the bomb, however.
This is interesting. Does ZywOo have it in range? Like, has he seen the bomb? Straight on. Oh,
They
it's on a
dropped the
cross on
bomb
red.
carrier. Yeah.
So looks like there's a timing here. It's unlikely, but if Lucky just decides to walk all the way up and...
He may have heard Zywoo rotating somewhat, but what can he really do about it? He has a flashbang, Lucky, but Zywoo just keeps on moving.
Yeah. And, you know, just the kind of player he is, of course, he's going to be very aware of any potential threat. But Lucky is making a lot of ground here, coming up nice and close, and crouches underneath the scope of Zywoo to get the headshot. Knows the bomb is here outside red, and it is just this double, the shotgun to hold upper from lobby. 20 seconds on the clock. Lucky is going to molly in the correct place just to get in Shox' head, and ends up making the rotation downstairs. This is ambitious, but it's also the correct play.
Yeah, I don't think Shox can get down in time now. Drops the smoke as well. Has no idea where Shox is. Has to shift walk with the shotgun. This would be quite the clutch. If he even comes across another weapon, if he picks it up, he gives his position away. So he's more or less got a creep of the auto here. He has a defuse kit. Now, this could be, I mean, is the glass broken in control? Probably isn't right now.
I don't think so, yeah.
So Shox doesn't have the range. Surely it's a two-shot if he goes through the doors.
Check it.
Oh, it is broken.
One is, yeah. Uh-oh.
It's got to start running now. And didn't stand much of a chance there. Very awkward position. Great effort from Zywoo, but 4 wasn't enough.
Again, yeah, it's like, oh man, he tried his hardest in a couple of these rounds. The pieces are just falling around him, and yeah, I mean, he couldn't have been more aware in the sense that, like, he tried to cover the bomb, get to a really safe spot, really didn't play close to it inside a big garage, maintain his distance from the rifle. But you got to give it up to Lucky. I mean, the awareness to find both of them in the 1v2. First of all, to understand how Shox would rotate and be so confident about it, and then to also crouch under the scope of
exactly
Zywoo, I think was pretty kind of fantastic by him. He's got to be proud of himself for making those moves. Not an easy man to hunt down by any means. So 9-2 up. They've won these rounds just by, you know, brute force. They've won them in the clutch by being really smart, and they've, you know, even won some rounds that were slower that it felt like Vitality knew exactly what they were going to do. So, I mean, when I look at this, it's just, you know, it really doesn't feel like Vitality are the favorites in this match. I mean, I picked Double Pony just because they're funny video on Twitter, but I didn't know this was coming. But I guess you did.
I'm the king of predictions.
Maybe you knew.
Maui's trying to say otherwise because of the last Flashpoint, but I had to pull out the double diamonds from the last 2 majors, you know.
I think that's worth a lot. I mean,
yeah, you gotta respect that. It demands respect.
I have a lot of excuses for why I don't have mine, but I don't make excuses, so you're not going to hear them from me.
but you have them. You're just not going to make them. You're not going to reveal them.
In case you were wondering, I definitely have excuses. You're not going to know what they are.
I have excuses, but I'm not going to deploy them.
Way, yeah. I'm not that kind of guy.
Well, lots of close range weapons here for Vitality. The MP9, moving accuracy is fantastic, of course. The CZ, which used to be better than the FAMAS at kind of close to medium range. 5.7, the auto once again. Now, this could be a massacre, but we haven't seen many of those in Vitality's favor thus far.
Oh, boy. Is that going to be hilarious or tragic? Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's landed next to nothing there. Well, then, there's the entry into the ramp position. Vitality look to be on the way downstairs, but Body is coming in round the back, which leaves Masuta and Apex to become victims, more or less. I don't expect much else. However, there are 25 seconds on the clock here. And the Pony moves towards the A bomb site. They've got high ground advantage, so I don't think there'll be any thwarting of the bomb plant.
The auto shot is kind of like, it's every shot is a kill or you don't get anything. That's pretty much how it goes. Really no in between. So,
have you ever ridden a pony?
No, I've never.
I went on a horse in Egypt, but it looks like I was on a pony.
Because you're so big?
Because I'm massive.
Well, like, what's a distinctive characteristic of a pony? Do they always have like a white mane?
I know they're small. They're
small
ass horses.
Yeah.
They should have made their name double small ass horses.
I don't know. It doesn't really roll off the tongue though, does it?
That's true, yeah. I mean, if it was just small ass horses, that would be what?
Yeah.
S-A-H.
Yeah.
Okay, double pony. Let's go double
pony. Maybe that's what they did though. They went through the whole rationale because they're that smart. I mean, clearly they've got like, you know, tactical brilliance and branding genius as well. Still don't know what the two, you know, why is it double? What's going on there? Is it because they pulled the chariot?
I want to see NBK in horse riding gear.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you probably could make this happen in real life at some point. So
I'm very capable of a great many things.
I await the video.
Masuta is 1 for 10 at present.
I mean, he's been bombing. It's not great, and he got so much better too on this roster.
Ooh, it's a bad miss.
Yeah, that is. Looks to trade for some damage. It looks like the spam's on, but Apex is far back outside.
We've got 2 very aggressive positions around T-Red outside from Vitality. But again, with the focus on the A bomb site, what impact will this have? We still have the great utility from Double Pony. I don't know if they've blown off the door yet. Of course, their first HE grenade missed, and that could have quite an effect on the rest of this round. Just the harassment from Squeaky would be dramatically different if they can't blow off the door.
Yeah, no, that can actually make a world of difference for sure. The T's want that out just because it makes it such a nightmare to cross up. But the smokes keep going down in front of Squeaky, and this seems like such a good part of the game plan for Vitality. It just doesn't seem to be the only key that they need to win. Now the rush comes in on Shox, but Shox can't get one on ramp again. Lucky finds that duel, forces Apex to rotate so hastily downstairs, and now he's kind of in an obvious position, but he still manages to get that first kill.
2-man swing, it won't be enough, but the third man will do the job there. Body leaving Zywoo in a 1 versus 3. In that respect, it's worst case scenario for Double Pony that Zywoo's the last man standing, but the sound cues will surely be heard now. The scope has been heard. Joko knows exactly where he is. So the rest of his team can do what needs to be done. Too many man on road for Vitality to deal with. 11 from 13 rounds on the T side for Double Pony.
I hate to be a negative Nando, but is Nando a name?
How dare you, Nando? Nancy.
I try to be relatable for you, James. Okay, well, I hate to be a negative Nancy, but it felt like if you can't watch this demo.
Negative Nigel.
Oh,
let's not make it about women.
Sure, we get negative Nigel.
Negative Nigel.
Just, yeah. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so like the amount of times that Shox has made a correct play by like pushing up to an angle or like getting in a good position for one and just not getting a kill. I mean, what can you say if you're Xtaz, you watch the demo with your team, you know? Like Shox already knows like I'm supposed to, he's going to take accountability there and be like, I need to get that kill. I need to get 2 there. He's not making the wrong play. He's just not getting the frag. And I mean, it's hard to chalk it up to more than that.
Yeah, and we have to say, like, Masuta's got a really hard job in this particular matchup on the A-bomb site. You saw him by Squeaky behind the smoke, and he was still getting sprayed down. He was lucky to survive at that point. Obviously, he died later on, but he was sprayed down to the red, like wherever he stands. If he goes around hot, he's getting entries by Double Pony, wall bangs around the blue box, and etc.
Yeah, I mean, the execs are good, that's for sure. Now, I will say the only thing is, if you're not having success like Shox isn't, oh no, they're actually turning up the temperature here. Alfro comes out. Shox finally finds his kill. A rotation comes downstairs. Apex was going to go secret here, so he might have found a timing. But it looks like he got spotted a couple of times now rotating downstairs. This makes his life worse.
This is just pure confidence play now from Double Pony, and the Pony is on the way. Stampede into the B bomb site. 3-on-3 though. But there are sound cues, of course, as Body is still lurking. Still on the A bomb site, 2 players. Waiting for that late rotation. Kyojin able to take out the lurker. Now there's a man advantage. A rare one, it feels like, for Vitality. No defuse kits on the 3 remaining players. Perhaps they'll find one as they move forward. Joko moves through control very quietly, but Masuta's just holding the angle for now. This could be awkward for Joko as he starts to move through. Down he goes, leaving NBK now 1 versus 3. They're all from the door, the 2-man spray down, but Zywoo is there to trade. 2 bursts, in fact. Great executions, literally, from Double Pony, but Vitality get a much-needed 3rd round on the board.
Yeah, whatever they can take at this point, and then they can talk about the second half. I mean, they're capable of winning. They've got a game plan deep enough. They've made comebacks versus better teams, so, you know, it's still going to give them the benefit of the doubt in the second half, especially if we're talking about 4 rounds at least. But, yeah, for the moment, I mean, it's just more of the same. And the only thing I will say about Shox is that he is making Apex's life harder by dying so early, because if he does do the more standard way of, like, standing on the box and seeing someone dropping down and then, you know, rotating downstairs, at least that way he slows down the rotation so Apex can get into a better spot and lower. But it almost feels like Apex is forced to like get these 2 miraculous frags downstairs or like run into control and hopefully win his first duel way too often.
Oh, this time they don't blow off the door. Zywoo was waiting, still get some damage at the very least. Masuta taking a wine bottle to the face. It's like being in London. Shox now again. Oh my god, what happened there? I think somebody There was maybe
Great
a
bullet.
flash there or something, but so far so good for Shox. He's finally delivering on the ramp position, and it's done enough for ZywOo to get a third. 4 versus 2 now.
Kind of a bumper car is executed. Looks like they team flash maybe.
Yeah, I saw some hands up.
Oh, this is actually interesting because did they have any idea someone could have gotten downstairs? Because if not, it looks like they're not watching this whatsoever. But the problem is, of course, that Body is the only other player, so they can't really cause enough paranoia, I think, on the CT side to do anything with this. And Apex finds his kill. I think Masuda, oh, he doesn't know at least, but, 50 seconds up 1v4, you'd think impossible, unless almost the second kill right away. 45 seconds up. He's got one targeted in the corner, and Joko finds that. Bomb can get retrieved potentially. ZywOo camping on it, and can't think of a better player to have in this spot, but a smoke could actually change the game here. Potential to go for an open plant, and Joko's going to try to make that 5-head Galaxy Brain play come through the smoke right into the lying arms of ZywOo, and that is the end of the half. 4-11.
This is the first game of the European RMR. We're headed to a break. We'll see you back here shortly for the second half. Vitality move into the second half with a mere 4 CT rounds. It'll have to be done the hard way. Double Pony looking very strong indeed. Savaging the A-bomb site time after time after time.
You believe in horoscopes, James?
Maui certainly does.
Yeah, that's true. He's very good at them, too. He's actually making us believers. But the question was because these 11 forced core lines, like Zonic talked about, the ones where the comebacks always seem to happen. Is that going to be the case today? Vitality with 4 rounds here on T side, they have enough tools in the box to be able to scare Double Pony and get away with a good plan. But do they have the aim right now? It feels like individually they can't even keep up.
Well, that's a brief start from Lucky on the A-bomb site. The smokes have been deployed. NBK still in that heaven position. Needs to try and stay alive, though, with a bit of harassment, some poking, prodding. Needs his team to be in position. Got to wait out those smokes as well. Joker's got a HE grenade. I'm curious to see where that might end up. Could be a meaty one. There it goes towards Hart, and I think it landed on, I was going to say ZywOo's head, but somehow it did about 3 damage. I think it should have killed him, really. But here they go, charging in with the numbers. Awkward angles for all. 2-on-2 now, Body with a defuse kit. Shox hiding around a smoke. Popping out now with his teammate, and now it's his Joko. Got to get that reload in. Got to find the kit as well. Surely 19 HP. This is going to be real awkward for him. He's pushed forward, picked up the kit as he go for a defuse. Won't even make it there. Zywoo will finish him off. And Vitality win their T-side pistol.
But Zywoo again kind of comes through, and he's the hero inside of the hut. Actually love that retake. The way that they layered the attack. They went through the flash at one point. They had the nades to come through. They had the late hut smoke. So like they let them get comfortable in getting inside hut first. But Zywoo made the smart move of coming out and disrespecting it, realizing what the game plan was, and saved his teammates who were underneath the heaven, who managed to kind of, fail their trades and came through with 3 kills. So I think that made a really, really big difference. And this does make the game a lot more real. I mean, 5 rounds now, and this is always the point where we see, like, our Vitality that low on confidence? Are they going to suddenly lose the force up? These are the kinds of rounds, especially when you're kind of doing so badly in the game, that I'm really looking at the clock first and foremost. Are you wasting too much time? Does it look like the decisions aren't there? Or are you giving the pistols too many openings? And I think that's what Double Pony wants, because they're low on utility. So they just want kills like these. Oh man, he's not in an easy position to clear out either.
Man, the guy's game sense is just absurd. He knows that there's potential opportunity presented to Double Pony. Some nice spray.
Every time I turn on my stream, someone has to say Forsaken. Bring that up. Like, guys, give me one day off from calling me Nav or talking about Forsaken.
42 seconds on the clock. This could still be somewhat threatening for Vitality. He's got Apex downstairs with a MAC-10. Easy information, man. Proactiveness from Double Pony, though, in the lobby, and that's a rifle collected by Joko.
Ooh.
Some town cues there, no bodies by CT Vent, but they got a crossfire, jumping in to create some space. Down goes the bomb, and Shocked in a 1 versus 2 now. They can hold off angles, 20 seconds for him to plant that bomb, and he will not be able to do it. That is a catastrophe. That's a Hindenburg right there.
Oh, man. Yeah, that blimp exploded. That's very unfortunate, and I actually think that they moved quite deliberately. We had a couple of cool positions where they managed to get the kill, that double Deagle spam on that off angle and someone dropping out of off the top of Mini, excuse me. I'm not surprised he got that kill. I thought that was a really cool angle to use, so I almost don't blame Vitality for that one. But then after they get picked apart there, they rush it upstairs, and that crossfire is too strong. The guy opposite vent has like 10 HP, so I can see why they wanted to chase him down. But Joko's aim was amazing. I mean, with that Galil spray and him getting that first kill, even if that guy got by with 10 health, that whole round could have fallen apart. So, by the skin of their teeth, they win it, but they'll take it all day.
Well, Zywoo's got that. No, never mind, he's dead. Maybe the rifle can be collected. The shadow there giving the position away, and the kills just keep on coming. Masuta utterly deleted.
Jeez.
There's something in the water. I think Vitality might be playing from Flint, Michigan, because they're not looking very healthy right now.
Not very clean, yeah. I mean, Zywoo's aiming in the right spot, but like the AK is going to let you down, especially versus an AUG. The AUG outside is damn near as good as an AWP because of how versatile it is, plus how reliable it is at that distance. So, I mean, even though Zywoo looks super sharp right now, 21 and 12, and like switched up to that second target perfectly, he's still a victim to the first bullet accuracy of the AK itself. And yeah, that's all Vitality had to work with on that cross outside. Every right in the world to try to take that fight versus another rifle, but without him winning it, clearly his team just doesn't have odds. They're using him. They're relying on him too much.
Looks like this may be a brief game of Nuke.
Yeah, Inferno up next. This is this is Double Pony's map pick, and then Vitality picked Inferno. So it might be a different story then. But, oh wait. Apex wants us to eat our words. Find a kill with that P250, cause some problems upstairs, but the rest of the CTs are having no trouble getting kills, and now it's just Shocks rotating up with a sliver of HP with a Glock into upper, and will eventually get shot on the side of the head by Afro. 14-5, not the scoreline I expected to see, even if there was going to be an upset. This is a very strong map for Vitality. I was one of the best nuke players in the game, probably, I think, second best in stats, with Device closely behind him in the last 12 months. Overall, a very comfortable map. And I mean, I even feel like in that first half, the calls, if they were Apex's calls, were actually oftentimes quite good. I really feel like it was a mechanical failure a lot of these times from his teammates that let him down.
5-14. 5 AKs on road. Close to the last chance for Vitality. They're in the barber's chair, and Double Pony have got all the razors on the neck of Vitality, it seems.
It's like one of my irrational fears that a barber's just going to do me in one day. To have a bad day. Oof. An easy frag for Afro. An important player out. There's 5v4s, and then there's, you know, killing Zywoo like right away.
Yeah, he's 21 for 14.
Yeah, it's actually...
He, of course, is the outlier for the squad. No surprises there. BK will hold his position.
Even this level of delaying, you know, was something that Vitality couldn't even do in that first half, right? Just getting some damage and falling off, like MBK in that position, or getting an opening kill at ramp and staying alive. I mean, that was hard enough.
Right. There's 35 seconds left on the clock here. They've got their first entry in the garage.
So here's the
warehouse, whatever you like.
Yeah, here's a point where I think the rotation will come up to heaven, and they'll just try to focus down on upstairs because there's no way it can be lower anymore.
Oh, baited into a crossfire as well. Death by paper cuts here. Double Pony are in complete control on Nuke as they reach game points.
Damn, what can you say about that? I mean, they stopped the aggression at ramps 4v5. There's no way for Vitality to cause any distractions or like make presence slower anymore. MBK gets some damage and then falls back, but they don't actually push through. There's no threat of this, you know, group up lower that MBK wouldn't know about. And then upstairs, they've got this rock solid crossfire between two players and a fast rotation and someone coming up secret fast behind him as well. So many options, so many ways out for Double Pony. Looking crispy clean. My goodness. I mean, it's still, you know, Zywoo showcase here with this fantastic scout shot, but it might just be a consolation prize. A bit more damage here on Lucky, but body equalizes on another part of the map.
Oh, it's equal no more. Shocks trying to keep things alive here for Vitality. 3 versus 3. Still very ill-equipped. 2 rifles, one of which is a scout for Vitality. Masuta on a Tech 9. So I were able to upgrade to a Galil. So that's something. We can see Double Pony being very proactive here. Moving around, trying to identify the player Vitality. And the net is closing on Vitality. They may not realize just how much.
Oh, MBK seems a little bit worried about something going on at ramp, but he's got a strong angle. I mean, this dodge just flashes.
Oh!
Nice and off, and gets the damage in. Zywoo gets away with his life, though.
Yeah, they were really lining up for him there. Broken glass, but Body chooses to go elsewhere. Stay on the high ground on the rafters, and there we go. Shocks now. He's got 35 seconds, 1 versus 2. Only knows where 1 is, and it's a very awkward peek for him. Seen the leg, though. Now, where is the last man? Where does he plant? 28 seconds, and the flank is on the way. It'll be free for Joko, and there it is. 16-5. Double Pony absolutely dominating Vitality. Foot on the head, face in the mud. They were never in this game.
I was really impressed by Double Pony, for sure. I mean, individually and everything, but I do feel like a better version of Vitality would have obviously put up a better fight. I mean, maybe even won that, because it just felt like some of the calls in the first half were actually kind of decent, but nobody could meet those calls halfway with the frag. The upper holds falling apart between Masuda and Kyojin. Shock's not holding on to ramp, and I hate to boil it down to that, but it really felt like that was the most important part of that game.
So much pressure from Double Pony on the round at hut position, spraying the walls through Squeaky all over the place. Vitality will start this one the hard way. Thoughts at the desk after the break.
3, the first European RMR at 2021, is in the books right now, and it is an upset. Double Pony, they picked Nuke, they dominated Vitality. Maui, Lex, how did they do it?
Good game planning from Double Pony. I think coming into this one, we expected Kyojin to be tested, we expected Masuta to be tested, but it looked like Double Pony had an ace up their sleeve, and that was their ramp takes as well. I think that Shox was having a really tough time with that, and Double Pony, they were off to the races. They had such a hot start, they were flying there, and if I were to put my money on any horse in this race right now, it'd be Joko. That guy has just been explosive, and he was a player I was looking at coming into this tournament, and he delivered here on Nuke.
Has Joko been unchained?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, there it is. Finally,
So many
Joko's
jokes
been unchained.
back to back to back there. What kind of race does a Double Pony compete in? Because they're small horses and there's two, so is it like a mini chariot race?
It's the Kentucky Derby, but it's just like miniature. So I don't know, Tennessee like Derby or something. Just a smaller city or state in that area.
Lex, what were your thoughts on this map?
I mean, it really just seemed like despite ZywOo's efforts, Vitality just could not get it together at any point throughout the map. And to be honest with you, I mean, you touched on it, Maui. Seeing Masuta and Kyojin get isolated out at upper, how many times did we see them get entried upon? And it really didn't even get to a point where they were even getting shots in return. You know, the upper executes were potent out of Double Pony. They clearly were rehearsed and prepared, and they were able to play their game plan to a T. And I think, you know, you touched on round 4. Lawners described it as a frictionless ramp take, and that's how it felt the entire game, no matter where they went. It was like, okay, ZywOo maybe gets an entry, but if they're unable to follow up on anything, it really didn't ever pan out for them.
All right, well, let's take a look at the scoreboard for this map because it really did tell a pretty complete I'm sorry, we don't actually have the scoreboard for this right now, but we do have an interesting round to look at, more particularly when it comes to this map. Let's describe briefly what happens in some of these A-site takes where we did have some weakness on the CT side from, like you said, Kyojin and Masuta. Is Kyojin really sliding very naturally into this roster at this point in time of Vitality, or where is the struggle coming from on that A-site?
I would say no. I feel like right now they're pairing Kyojin with Masuta, and usually the way that a lot of teams like to build their rosters, they'll pair a young star with an experienced veteran. But pairing him with Masuta means that Masuta is probably the guy that has to take control in those kinds of situations. He has to be the voice to try to direct Kyojin, and he's not doing a great job right now. They're looking very confused on that A-bomb side of Nuke. On Inferno, which we'll be going to next, they're probably going to be playing A together as well. Kyojin probably taking up RPK's spot in the pit area, and it's where Kyojin played on his previous teams. But will Masuta be able to micromanage him? Lex, I don't know if have you liked what you've seen from him?
I think you're onto something here, Maui, and something that really stood out to me throughout that CT side of Nuke was both of those players, and to some degree their rotators when they would come, you know, give aid to the A-bomb site. It seemed like there was some really disjointed holds from the CTs. They were fighting isolated fights that were not favorable for them to begin with. And there was times when, you know, it's not as though Double Pony was making it easy for Vitality. They were uncomfortable throughout. Where do you play at upper if everything's Molotoved and everything's getting wall-banged throughout a round? Well, if you're a younger, inexperienced player, you know, you don't have these solutions at your fingertips at all times. And I think that's something that, you know, kind of speaks to what you're getting at here, Maui. And it'll be interesting whether or not Inferno is going to pose the same problems.
Now, before we get into Inferno, we did actually have a chance to sit down with Apex from Vitality to discuss his team's performance recently and their upcoming hopes at the RMR.
Right now, it's not an easy moment for the team, so obviously we need everyone to get much better. I guess Masuta and Kyojin are the big part of it. They're really skilled players. They just need to feel really comfortable within the team. ZywOo is already playing fantastically, and Shoxy has to come back at his best level that he had during 2020. And that's the most important thing for us. I think that if all the pieces are together, we can get to the next level. The biggest rival we have right now is ourselves, to be honest. As I said before, we're not playing the best Counter-Strike yet. Even if the DreamHack Master got better, with the matches we had, we were close to go through. And that's the most important thing when you have a rookie within the team, because we know that we're not like at the 100% yet, and we will not be until 2 months maybe, until he will feel comfortable. I think we can come back to the top 5 without a problem. The way we're working is really good, and you always see when when you're walking well, at least, when everyone is in the same mood and you're going in the same direction. So that's the most important thing for me to be at the highest level and to come back at the highest level. And yeah, that's why we're working every day, so hopefully it's gonna pay off.
Well, Apex saying that Vitality can get back into the top 5 no problem. And to be fair, Double Pony, this was their map pick of Nuke. It's not, the match isn't over. We've got Inferno. We maybe have Vertigo to go to as a decider map if Vitality can win on their map selection. But looking a little bit rocky for Vitality so far. And to put this in perspective for everyone out there, remember that this is a 16-team double elimination bracket. There is no group stage. So getting thrown into the losers bracket in the first round means you are playing a lot more matches of Counter-Strike. It is brutal. There is no margin for error if you want to make it into the points for the RMR in the top 12. So with that said, Maui, what do we need to see from Vitality on Inferno heading into map number 2?
Well, the first thing that they're going to have to do is start off hot out the gates. They can't fall into a hole again. You need Kyojin, you need Masuta to have confidence, because after map 1, I think that right now they're in a pretty bad mental headspace, so they need to play themselves out of it. I know Apex will be there. I know Shox is going to be there behind him saying that we've been here before, we can, do this, but Kyojin, I don't really think he's been here before, actually. It's the experienced players that need to maybe give some room, some leeway, give them a little slack. If anything, Kyojin needs to be able to make a couple mistakes here and still be able to pull off a couple victories. So the other players on Vitality, I think, need to bring them up right now, because at the moment, it just feels like Kyojin, he was failing in that last map, and if he keeps failing and they keep losing, he's just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and sink. And that's not what you can have for a young star.
All right, so Lex, how do you, as a former pro player yourself, still high-level player.
Hey, we still frag. Premier is still a thing.
You can still frag. You can still frag. I'm not calling that into question. But how, as a veteran player, how do you get maybe a less experienced player who might be suffering from some nerves out of that zone? Do you have any techniques, or is there a way you can dig the rookies out of the hole?
Sure. I mean, the tough part about Nuke in particular, I mean, you have them in a position like Upper. They're going to be taking point at just about every execution into their site. And so, depending on how Inferno starts to shake out, Mal, you were touching on the early rounds, get some momentum, get some breathing room for these players. Like, let them eat up some eco frags. Let them build some confidence, get their stat lines up a little bit and play a little bit more loose. Because if you're just sitting there behind Silo at Upper and that's your gameplay experience for 15 rounds straight, you're going to have a bad time. Well, here we are going into Inferno, where it can be just as unforgiving, depending on the position. A relentless double pony could absolutely cause problems for Vitality early. So I think they come out of the gate early, get the pistol rounds under their belts and absolutely just let these guys kind of free some space up and play for themselves and play the game.
Would you guys make any changes to the way that the Vitality is playing their CT side difference if they're crumbling around Kyojin right now? Is there a way you can mix it up on Inferno to try and disguise that weakness potentially?
Well, I think they're trying to slot him in for a lot of RPK spots. And unfortunately, those are really high-pressure situations where if he is playing Pit on Inferno, then he's going to be the main anchor for that A bomb site. So maybe getting him away from that position a little bit, trying to take some more proactive plays, whether that's in apartments or just fighting to the death at porch, something like that. So it's not just, if I fall, we lose. At least give themselves an option that if he does die, it's okay. There's more to the round than his death.
I think something that will play into Vitality's favor here just by virtue of map design is Zywoo's going to have a lot more freedom to play his own game, get early entries for his team. The few times that we did see Zywoo put up early frags, those 4 rounds ended up panning out for Vitality on Nuke. So for me, being able to find mid-aggression, apps aggression, banana, wherever it may be on the CT side of things, I think Zywoo is going to be able to have a little bit more of an impact. And, I hate to always kind of boil it down to, a star player like him performing as a win condition for Vitality, but there it is. And I think it's plain as day now that you need that to happen in a matchup like this where you're already down 0-1.
So what's working well for Double Pony then? If you had to give a player to look out for right now that really impressed you on that last round of Nuke, we touched on Joko a little bit, Maui. Is that your guy to watch here as we head into Inferno?
I think Joko right now is probably in Kyojin's head a little bit. I think he's probably in Masuda's head a little bit too. And if he can just continue that, just keep on pressing forward towards A, whatever the strategy, the structure of Double Pony is to target A, I think that's what they need to be keep going for, because they were clearly just dismantling every single setup that Vitality had last game. And I think they can probably do the same on Inferno if they did their homework.
Yeah, and I think Body's IGLing is really going a long way in that first map to, to some degree, I think, counter-strat and kind of pick apart the weaknesses of Vitality. And I think his IGL kind of lurk situation on Nuke in particular was probably not snuffed out until 12 or 13 rounds into the game, where they finally caught on to what he was doing. So, having that many opportunities to kind of, not only make the strategic calls correctly, but then individually be making your own plays, that's something that you don't always get as a luxury as an IGL. And I think that Double Pony, just the situation that they've put themselves in now, he's got, an opportunity to do it again here on Inferno.
Well, Double Pony with all the momentum here in this opening best of 3 of Flashpoint 3, the RMR. We are ready to get into Game 2 on Inferno as Vitality looks to mount a comeback and keep their upper bracket hopes alive. Bringing you that action will be Bardolph and Launders.
Oh, hello. Sorry, just reading the scriptures of Bill Gates again. So this is the pick of Vitality.
Yeah.
They've played Inferno 3 times in the last 3 months, and they have not won a game.
And they've also never played with Kyojin, from what I could see. So, yeah, not a fun map for them. Plus, they picked it. So I guess they've been developing it a lot. But Kyojin's never played an official with them on it. And he's clearly got, like, kind of a nervousness or, like, gestation period that we're witnessing right now. So we're bringing him to this new spot, as Maui highlighted. It's Pit. And what we saw from the last game was that it was clearly part of Double Pony's game plan to go towards the new guy. Right?
Absolutely. Of course, I'm sure they've been playing practice maps and so on, so the stats from the last 3 months of officials do not tell the entire story. That much is for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm expecting them to bring some kind of element of surprise into this that maybe Double Pony aren't expecting.
And it's hard to game plan versus a team that you've never actually seen before. Like, they're thinking about their CT side. They don't know everything about how Kyojin is now playing inside of Pit, if he's going to play on balcony a lot more, or if he's going to play in the door. And it can be a very dynamic spot that certain players have different ways of playing it completely. I think, and if they had an idea of how RPK played it, has nothing to do with the way that Kyojin played it, even though he's probably learned a little bit. And I feel like one day Kyojin can be a great Pit anchor, just like off top. When I look at him, he seems like he's super good at being fluid, and even though he's like an anchor, I feel like him moving around makes a lot of sense. And if you could play on top of the balcony and take a number of different fights and then fall back into Pit and be kind of very versatile in that small little zone, I feel like he's going to excel there. But I have a feeling that he's going to struggle, at least in the first few times around.
We just had a player crash, so there's a slight delay before the game gets started. Hopefully a quick reboot and they'll be good to go.
Well, it's rare that we see the French cross fries, isn't it, James? Been a long time since we've gotten a French derby.
French cross fries.
Yeah.
That really confused me. But
because apart from, okay, so like G2 is Almond Jacks pretty much. That's the only two.
Yep.
They're not even majority anymore. So there's not even anyone else to come for Vitality spot, except for Double Pony right in front of us.
Very quickly, like, I don't know what states... okay, this is not live. But anyway, I don't know what states RPK's English is in, but I really hope that he's not limited in where he can go based on language, because I am super sad that he has been, benched essentially.
I think he got scapegoated a little bit, to be honest. I think his stats were coming down somewhat, but at the same time, like, look at the last game, for example. I mean, clearly it wouldn't have been RPK as the issue. There was Masuda, there was Shocks.
Yeah.
And Apex in that interview right there, he mentioned all of those players as, like, they need to come back into form. They need to all raise their individual level a little bit. It's been a group effort towards failure almost between the team. And I feel like they pointed RPK as like, well, he's not going to last very long. Let's get rid of him now.
Yeah.
But they bring in a guy who can maybe add more problems. They've got to fix, they got to build this guy and fix everyone else. It's like,
I feel like RPK is a facilitator, I think he allowed other players to shine with some of his roles. And I think those jobs are important, and they can be a thankless task as well. Like I know he
I heard he's a great teammate.
yeah, throws a lot of grenades for his teams, for his players, and things like that. And I think, you know, he might not have like the most spectacular role in the squad, and I think people in those roles can be underestimated or underappreciated
And scapegoated because of their stats.
Yes, and I want to see. I believe in RPK. I like massively believe in RPK. I want to see him back on a team, even if it's not this team. I just hope, like, again, like language barrier isn't an issue where he can only play on a French team, because that would be extremely limiting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good his English is. I haven't really heard him. I don't think I know what RPK's voice sounds like, to be honest. Never done an interview.
I played the Red Bull Flick with him at some point, at 2v2 versus Shocks and whoever it was. Don't remember because we deleted them. I say we, RPK deleted them.
Nice.
I was just there. His aim is insane.
Yeah.
It was just fun to just watch him just delete people. But seriously, like I think he's got years of career ahead of him, if he can. But that's an interesting thing, and I think that's something where like FPL can help people whose English isn't so strong. Oh, by the way, so when I played Red Bull Flick with him, his English was limited, but we could communicate enough. But obviously, you're going to need more than that on a pro team.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the greatest things about something like FPL is that, you know, it's English speaking, so you can figure stuff out and like practice and improve your English there. Especially now with spare time on its hands, I think it would be a wasted opportunity to not do that.
And yeah, and you only need like the Counter-Strike lexicon, like the callouts on the maps and stuff. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Like FPL is perfect. You just need to know specific maps, and like everything else can come with time. But yeah, really, it's up to him how much runway he sees in front of him for how much time he wants to play.
Yeah,
maybe he's sick of it.
I think there may be, because he's a more mature player. I think there could be like cultural clashes as well. You know, if you're used to like a French cultural environment, but you go into certain different teams where you don't really have anybody who meshes with you well like that, you know, then
there's no good wine around. Live in your country.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Right.
As long as there's good tequila, as far as I'm concerned. But on a serious note, I think that is something which is also to be considered as well. I feel like when Steel, Brazilian, was playing on some international teams, and when he just suddenly left, I felt like that was probably like a lack of
cultural.
I mean, I'm just guessing. Right?
Yeah,
but,
you never know.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was something along those lines. So
I get it. I've heard the same thing from NA players, because there was a lot of like Brazilian mix-ups, and like I've heard players say like it's not like everyone's not friends. Like they are friends. Yeah. But once you're living together and like, you know, let's say you die in a round and then it's 2v2 and there's only 2 Brazilian guys left and they just start speaking Portuguese, you just kind of feel like, oh man, you are the other guy a little bit. Like
I don't mind that so well. I mean, like I know that happens with like G2, for example. You know, I don't think that's a big deal. I think it's more off the server than on the server. You know, like if you're like, who are you going to kick back with and talk to? Because like if you don't get on with everybody, like, you know, you can be like acquaintances, right?
Yeah, like I tried to mention Nando's earlier and you just roasted me, so I don't even know how to be friends with you, James.
Well, like, you know, you're not going to necessarily like hang around with everybody that you're around. You'll have your people that you have stuff in common with, and you'll, you know, spend time with those people or find some people elsewhere or something. But if he doesn't have that, or someone doesn't have that, I think it's really difficult to live a life like that, especially on the road all the time, you know, when we're not in a pandemic.
That is that's where the age, I think, matters more than even, you know, how good he'll be, because he's already good in a top 5 team. Yeah. And all, you know, touched top 1 last year. They won everything. You know, as legendary player. So that's not really the issue. It's just like, you know, does he want to do it more, and then how much does he want to change to go somewhere new? And sometimes whenever these, like, you know, Kenny S comes up G2, I'm like looking through, you know, everyone comes and asks, they're like, where should he go? And I look through the top 20 and I'm like, man, where can he go? It's really hard actually when you try to find a spot for a player in another team right now, because so many teams in the top 20, even if you're top 10 to top 20, even though they're not top 10, they look really good. Yeah. Like almost everyone's almost super solid. So it's just tight. I feel like we've never had a period of Counter-Strike where this amount of teams have all been good. I'm uncomfortable sometimes saying tier 2. You know, if a team loses to, you know, Gambit loses to Copenhagen Flames this year, for example, I have a hard time saying like, oh, that's such a dramatic upset because Copenhagen Flames are like doing so good, or someone loses to Havu. It's like, man, Havu are nuts, man. Yeah, they can easily win. There's never been another year like that, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in like doing pick'ems for the next major. Like how
Getting
difficult,
double diamond
how
again.
difficult is it going to be? Like
Yeah.
triple diamond, that's going to be rough, man.
It's going to be one of those major, you got to be an idiot to get it right. That's how I cope.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what shape Astralis are going to be in. I mean, we'll see that as it goes on. I think though they've got enough structure, but like they're not going to be the Astralis of old, at least not straight off the bat, right? So that was always a solid pick to just help you when you really need one result to come through. You got Astralis there, but that may not be the case anymore. But that's another story for maybe later on today. For now, it's Vitality and Double Pony, and we are going to start Inferno. Vitality will be starting on the T side. They got battered on a nuke if you're just joining us, and now it's their chance to turn things around. We're kind of in the dark in terms of what to expect from Vitality. Again, 3 maps played on Inferno the last 3 months. They lost all of them, so we'll see what they can do here. Charging into the B bomb site at the back, we've got 2 players in a crossfire. Heath and Posse set up more or less. Afro with the opening kill. Joko's here as well, but not for long. Trying to stay alive now is Afro, but he will be denied. On the bomb site they are, but the flank is coming in very fast from Double Pony.
Ooh.
NBK poking and prodding, 2 versus 2 now. Things start to slow down, but not for long. Apex pops, and that leaves Shox. He's a dab hand with a pistol, got the USP as well, but denied into the crossfire, and Double Pony take their CT pistol.
They just ran it down mid full speed the entire time and were able to come through that fast flank. I like how Double Pony played all the way passive there with the idea to get the mid info fast. It felt like they knew B was coming, and I think one way this round works out well for Vitality is if actually Double Pony try to push Banana and they take those close range duels and they just get overrun with a Glock. So I have a feeling that Vitality were actually kind of uncomfortable with the fact that they didn't see Double Pony rotating frantically back and just saw kind of a completely excavated B site and then had to get to the back of the site, and then the support flashes came in. Felt like Double Pony were very prepared for that specific kind of round, even though Vitality almost got the entries fast enough to get that bomb down.
On the subject of ponies, I have it on very good authority, Launders, that if Double Pony are to win this game, we will have pictures of NBK on a pony called Dieter. So I'm looking forward to that.
That was a real thing.
Yep.
And the pictures exist.
No, but they will exist.
They will exist. Okay,
if they win this.
Oh my gosh.
Then
now even if you don't like them or if you're the hugest Vitality fan, you've got to switch your prediction now.
Multi-talented Twitch streamer and cook extraordinaire, Miss Rage, has promised pictures of NBK on a pony. The pony's name is Dieter.
We wait with bated breath. Do you know what that means? Data?
What Dieter means?
Yeah.
It's a name. What's the meaning of the name?
Well, I mean, you showed me the name, but then I read it as Dieter. So you said it in a certain way that made it feel like you knew the name.
Well, we have different accents.
That's true.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm familiar with the name because I've heard it before from Europe. I don't know what it means. It's a name. If Dieter means something, then please send me a tweet and I'll read it out. But right now, I don't know. We'll probably get some troll tweets now about that.
Dieter.
Dieter. I don't know what language.
What's
like? Is it German?
I didn't know it was a word. You kept saying it, so yeah, that was tough for me.
There we go. Well, it looks like one of the players is having some kind of issue.
Perfect time for you to explain what JZFB means.
It's my initials.
Oh shit.
So, my second name is ZIE, but it's a Cameroonian name.
ZIE like Zangief?
No, you pronounce it Je. You pronounce it Je. Nice try though. I do play Zangief in Street Fighter.
Yeah, I tried to make like a really bad segue into talking about your Street Fighter career.
So ZIE you pronounce Je.
Je.
And then F is for Forrester.
Dieter.
Which is my other middle name. So that's my name.
Nice.
Yeah.
You ever consider being Forrester in game? That sounds like I like that one.
No, I just put Bardolph in capital letters. I feel like it's, it's a symbol of authority. When you get shot with a sword off in Boiler.
Whenever you say it, I see it with the red B emoji. Bardolph.
The what? The red beat.
The real ones know.
My name's actually German. It used to be spelled LF, but some dudes changed it to PH like a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know why.
That's too much for me.
It looks like we're live again.
Small brain around. Let's see, 10 seconds to go before we get in. And Double Pony coming off another strong pistol. They did so well in the first game. I mean, they even ecoed in the second half. They did a great job to get the first first pistol and then ecoed in the second half. Now they come through with another pistol, and Vitality, I guess one of the games they lost was this last one with RBK at Blast, and that was with and that was versus it was a third map of that game. That didn't go too hot versus 9Z.
That's some really good damage from Afro. He gets 2 kills out of it. Really trying to advance on the position there, Vitality, but absolute denial. Start as you mean to go on. Double Pony continue their momentum from Nuke into the early rounds of Inferno. But the AK-47s are coming out for Vitality. 5 AKs on roads. Got a few flashes, 1 molly, a bunch of smokes. We'll see how fast around this is from Vitality. Looking to be a more prompt one, perhaps. That scout still exists in this round, of course, so they may be targeting Afro, looking for close range advances on position. I can hear the tick of chat, which probably means that someone is having some kind of issue or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I think the normal thing to do when you look at new players and when they come into new teams is to look at their CT side spots, because that's the most obvious of where they would slot in. Here we got him replacing RPK in like what positions? Okay, as an anchor and stuff. But and I think part of that is when you're watching like the games on T side, the roles are a little bit harder to see sometimes because you change hats. Sometimes you're the entry fragger. Sometimes you're taking control of a different part of the map. Sometimes you're just part of an execute that changes different executes or whatever. And the mid rounds change up where you are very often. And I think that just speaks to how hard it is to fit in on the T side. So I think it's quite a challenge, for Kyojin, especially not only to come into RPK's roles on the CT side, but then to think about how to kind of stay in flow on the T side. Always make sure you're getting something done without putting your team in jeopardy of losing. Like how can Kyojin be himself, which is a super explosive rifler, but also be like a very, composed and smart mover at this level where the players are much better overall.
Yeah, and it can certainly be growing pains for a new player as well as they find their identity on the server. I think Kusta was a good example of that where, he was a bit overhyped initially as a sniper, but then he kind of came into his own and found his identity as a sniper, and then was no longer sniping, which is sad. But, hopefully something similar doesn't happen to Kyojin.
We'll watch for that op.
But you gotta figure out your flair on the server, and that can in part be having some difficult, some rough situations, maybe coming out on the wrong end of things.
Do you watch Attack on Titan?
I have seen the first episode twice.
Oh.
And
wow,
that's it.
It makes you feel bad. Are we into it? Are we live?
It looks like we are.
It looks pretty good.
Oh, we got those new chickens.
They're running out there. We've got 2 MP9s up. The mix back to the CTs who just lost. Some damage into Kyojin. Nice and early. Oh, sorry, they didn't lose. The bonus round for them is Vitality, who invested everything and got together a pretty good buy. But the unconfirmed damage is strong now for the CTs. This powers up the SMGs, the Bombas, a lot, and they're looking for some more.
Is he going to jump over the smoke? Oh, spotted one.
They run by
an angle for a second kill as well. They've got no idea he's there.
Oh, no way.
Lucky deleting, spots the bomb as well. I don't know if they've got more utility for it. Indeed, they do. There's the smoke, and it goes from bad to worse for Vitality. The MP9 peppering. Death by paper cuts almost. Shocks with 3 HP.
Oh, the way it ends like that, that's actually a really fantastic round from Double Pony. I mean, everything worked out so well. Okay, maybe it's not over. 2v3? Did I call it too soon? Minute on the clock. Bomb, almost unreachable territory, but they're going to run out of grenades at some point. Still 2 mollies here to work with.
Double Pony with double mollies, and that's going to be a problem. It's just going to kill time for Vitality. So we're looking for some area control, but again, those mollies are just going to get dumped.
Oh, the smoke, it's just a one-way here for a Joko. You got into a good spot.
So Afro's just making sure no one's in CT, but he's got to make his way to Banana, surely, to deploy that incendiary to stop that bomb from being retrieved. Here it comes. Oh, he goes for a flashbang instead, and the bomb's been dropped. Shock's now at 3 HP, down to 2.
We were almost in business right there if he got that kill on logs. Now Shock's 2 health. I mean, he is going to tuck tail and run. Let this 15 seconds burn out, and, Man, that's just such a strong round overall for Double Pony. The way they took banana control, and Lucky at the forefront of all of it, getting down there on the logs, jumping over the smoke. I mean, the grenade protocols were just perfect. Even how he just kind of lightly lobs a grenade to the bottom of steps after he gets on top of the logs for that extra damage. They did everything they were supposed to with the guns that they had. They came into the round looking like they lost the last one, and then closed the distance, got the utility damage in, and again, close the distance again with Lucky jumping up and over down into their spawn. They couldn't even get that bomb back. That was just perfect. Everything Vitality did not want to see came their way. They ended up having to go through smokes at, well over a minute left on the clock. The fact that they can make it look so desperate is quite disconcerting, I think, for Vitality.
So we asked for people to tweet about the name Dieter, but I did get another tweet. Hey James Bardolph, what do you call a French player with whiplash?
What do you call a French player with whiplash? I don't know. What?
Armor neck.
Armor neck?
Armor neck.
Oh, my neck.
Oh man, it was funny, and then
I'm sorry, I'm really slow to these.
Oh dear. Well, we got a two-man spray down from NBK. We'll see if the bomb can get planted here for Vitality. That would be pretty damn good, but I don't think it will be. Kyojin is on the wrong side of the map with 11 HP and a Desert Eagle. He does need to die in this round, otherwise he won't get his bonus for losing the round.
This is where he gets a little bit of a buff, okay? I mean, he's got little health, but there's no pressure. He's drinking Coke with no pressure, as they say. He's got the Deagle, which is his best gun. Okay, try to hype it up. Lucky disposes of him. Another 4-0 star here for Double Pony. The buy looks good. Apart from shocks, everyone will have nades and everything. He can get what he wants. I don't know. Might be worth to get a Mac 10 and go for nades so they can try to go for some kind of fast presence if they want to do that. But I mean, the half is their oyster, I guess would be the best phrase to use. There's still a lot of rounds to do whatever they want. Nothing is necessarily off the table here for Vitality. Double Pony know that. But it looks like the tempo is going to be quite slow. They're going to wait to see what Double Pony want to do in terms of their establishing grenades. Kyojin quietly walks up to the half wall here. And I don't know if they're trying to flash him for the peak, but there's two Double Pony players out in the open. And now they'll start to fall back. This is a good amount of presence here for Vitality. They're going to feel great about the fact they took little damage coming up to get it as well.
I'm interested to see how much rotation we'll see from Afro with this AWP. Smoked off long as we speak. Hold his angle for a while. Fire a shot and head back. 1 minute on the clock for Vitality, who are very light on grenades at this point, but they do have a lot of map control.
Man, that's a good point, though. They are so low on grenades. I mean, they got one execute left. There's no fakes involved, and they just got top mid control, so they got execute like right now.
There's a smoke and the molly on the B bomb site where there seems to be focus. Now, will it be a rotation back towards A, or will Shox look to wrap?
Oof, CTs are already suspicious.
Yeah, NBK's about to come out of boiler, and maybe he'll find himself a Shox if he looks to his left-hand side. There we go. That's all the information as well. He is delaying the execute. They are rotating back, in fact, and Shox will be able to trade. So the door has been opened more or less, but Body is rotating back towards the A bomb site. The Molotov has been deployed. Shox can go past it. The clip's been heard there, but that's a huge headshot from him. Some revenge on Inferno from Nuke, but a bomb still has to make its way over. And I think it might just do that. Afro doesn't get the opportunity. Lots of cover as that bomb is planted default.
That was a very, very tough situation to make the correct call. And I'm not sure if the retake's coming in. Oh my god, they gave them an opening. The CTs are a little bit too far maybe to think about this, but that was actually a chance there where it's got a powerful line. They get the opera down to the site, but they don't go for it. I think in terms of target selection, NBK made a severe mistake there. And I want to say it was just hard to, because he peeked down mid, maybe didn't know what he'd see, and so many players just coming back at him. But he needed to kill Shox first, because even if if he gets Shox as well, of course, they win the round. But if he only gets one or the other, Shox would have been the better one to get, because then he stops them from coming up mid. There's only 14 seconds when they're halfway up mid, and then they literally cannot come to the site faster than he can fall back, and the round's over. But Shox gets that miraculous, whip around trade, and then they're back in business after he gets the second entry as well. So they throw him something here. Throw him a bone.
That does make it reasonably expensive for Double Pony. Rebuys have to come through.
But that was a little bit worrying, though. You mentioned the utility, and it came down low. And they had to make a last-second decision, and they actually went back to A after throwing their last grenades on B as well. So it was, had the makings of being a very ugly round for Vitality.
It's interesting that NBK will be prioritized for the AK-47. One left on the team, and it is in his hands. Joko eliminated on Banana. That will draw a body over. We still have 2 players towards A, though, for Vitality. So they'll take their initial map control. Plenty of time on the clock. Lucky looking for something. Can't take out a jumping Apex, though. And that might be the green light to head towards the B bomb site. A fourth man will head over there, up Banana. That's Kyojin with the bomb in tow. Sorry, it's Masuta with the bomb in tow. Body still trying to show presence, and it goes from bad to worse here. Double Pony heading towards Eco Town as Vitality storm the B bomb site.
Okay, well, it's a sign of life here. Very nice entries. A couple of fluff sprays on the hold, but they managed to kill everybody inside the B site. As we can see, 2 deaths on Banana, 2 back in the site. Rotators get killed before they can even get comfortable. And that leaves MBK alone now to save. So a bit fortunate in the last round. This round had no luck about it whatsoever. They earned this every step of the way, and a great entry, that jackknife kill from Kyojin at the bottom of Banana, kind of playing it like Device, who just comes up and sits on the other side of smoke and, tries to defend versus any pressure. MBK dies as well at the end, so that's just, a little bit of peace of mind here for Double Pony, or for Vitality, excuse me, as they take out all 5 riflers. And in terms of money, Afro is the only one who could afford anything.
Yeah, this is the opening that Vitality needed. Again, we're still waiting to see. Maybe we'll see more on the CT side of what they've been preparing for Inferno. Again, on paper, not the pick you may have been expecting, but I'm sure they've been developing their map pool, especially with their new player. We'll have 3 players towards Banana now. Afro, dab hand of the scout, connects again onto Zaiwu this time. Don't want to lose that weapon, AWP. Kyojin creeping up. Catching him off guard, chasing the 3rd player now. That's Body on the B bomb site. He'll continue the harassment. Body moving towards the fountain, but how long will he last? Not very long at all. And there's not much for the remainder of Double Pony to save here. A HE grenade for Lucky, that's about it.
Yeah, the setup was a bit scary. So that early damage in. Really used that left side of the smoke with the scout to get that damage off to the bottom of Banana, and then there was the the stack as well. So they tried to get him to hunt down the scout and punish him for it, but the flash was really good. It allowed Kyojin to just kind of walk up quietly, get his 2 kills, have his impact, and Lex brought up that it can be as simple as letting a player farm ecos, which I think is very true as well. A salient point, Sometimes the confidence comes just getting your frag count up, like just realizing that you're facing mortals. You might feel like you're better than them before you get in the server, but now the nerves start to hit you a bit. You just want to shake those off, and sometimes that's it. You just got to kill some unarmored opponents.
Nothing's become difficult for Double Pony. Every time they lose a round at Seco, they just don't have the reserves, so it's very crucial. I do wonder if that'll make them more aggressive, try and take the game away from Vitality.
Yeah, if I'm Double Pony right here, I'm trying to shut down that game plan of... I would actually probably delay some nades on Banana unless I'm going to hold at the bottom of it, because right now Vitality are waiting and then walking up right after.
They got 5 HE grenades.
Oh yeah, they're throwing aggressive control and then walking down as well. So I think this is the other kind of solution where Kyojin can't get by anymore without taking some damage. So he's forced to fight, and now I think Vitality are a little bit more uncomfortable like they started with at the beginning of the game, and we can kind of go from there.
Oh, I think Body was fearing something. Manages to get
the kill.
Bomb site just in time. NBK with a 2-man spray down. That's one way to hold things down. Vitality sent many players towards B bomb site, but did they expect NBK to wreck them like that? I think not. Body making things as awkward as possible. We've got a 3-man now. Triangle of Doom for Double Pony, and Shox is the only man remaining. Tries to do as much damage as possible.
He got 4 kills from the graveyard. Didn't take a single point of damage. That is insane. And now Vitality, like squeezing, and they see that bottom banana control. They run it up mid, thinking there's only 2 there, and they almost catch Body off guard. But but they can't do that. And then this insane spray transfer from MBK. I mean, from that distance, that is just beautiful. And then Body is such low HP, finds a headshot angle immediately there off the side of Cold, and takes one down off the box. Things just fall completely apart from Vitality. Yeah, I mean, just in terms of individual effort, what a round for MBK.
It's so important that Body stayed alive there as well.
Yeah.
You could see he sensed like, oh, I think they're going to try and push up A quickly. Lucky with a very aggressive angle, no rifle support required. He is out of there, bouncing back to the bomb site. And again, Double Pony, this aggression now, trying to catch Vitality off guard. And this may slow down Vitality in the future rounds if Double Pony keep being aggressive and taking map control and or getting picks like this.
They've got a big utility advantage here on top of having an extra player. And, you know, it might be a little bit of a honeypot trap here for Vitalities. They're grouped up at the top of Banana, but there's 3 CTs waiting for them to greet them at the entrance. Smoke's going to come down. They're going to try to do some kind of contact execute. But there's still some more utility coming their way.
They separated players, though, and look at the deletions there from Afro. Vitality had one in alone, and look at the swing now through the smoke as well. Apex will get beasted on the B bomb site. Quite like that. The timing of the incendiary worked out really well for Double Pony. Again, if there are more players ahead of that Molotov, then maybe the result is a little different, but not the case on this occasion.
They're layering the grenades really well. They had the rotations in place. They seem very clear-minded about the fact that there was going to be an attack very soon. Opening kill as well takes the edge off and puts the pressure on Vitality to make a move. They try to come in and they get stopped. And you can't be surprised with the amount of utility they had, but you can be surprised about how well they used it. And I think that's what's, you know, something to highlight about Double Pony. They're definitely impressing in that regard. Looking very composed.
Afro's not a player I've seen too much of, but he seems pretty consistent, be it an AWP or a scout. He just lands every shot.
That's true. Very scary.
Again, we've got more high explosive grenades being deployed down Banana. Body must be careful though. Everybody knows those angles, whether there's a smoke there or not. Joko cleaning up from the sandbags with some more bangs from Lucky being attempted at the very least. And look at the HP of Vitality here.
They just sacrifice so much, like you're saying, to try to get the top Banana control, and they try to weaponize Kyojin in the same way. But I think it's become quite obvious what they're trying to do, and they didn't get that kill. Now Afro gets the kill on Zywoo, and all the rotates start to pour over from the spawn. Great flash will allow Body to find a refrag. And a blind Masuda will not be able to carry over that information. MBK finds one, and they can't even attack the pit safely now.
We can start to see the tug of war here between both teams. Vitality are trying to fight against this early aggression from Double Pony. On this occasion, it won't work out for them. And having broken the money for Double Pony, now Double Pony find themselves with 3 rounds in a row and a 4-round lead on their CT side.
Almost a bit one-dimensional there with the way they're using Kyojin at this point, because now he had a couple of rounds of success. Now they're just walking him up to the top of Banana. But there they took, you know, tons of damage. Zywoo 1-8 on this game. But like all that unconfirmed damage in that last round, like it just followed them through into the later portions of it. They had no other map control, and then went back to A. They get killed by nades that don't even land near them. There's almost no chance for them to recover, and here they go, taking more damage. But of course, it is just a half force or half buy.
Yeah, Vitality refusing to be conditioned by Double Pony's aggression, but it is costing them heavily at the moment. And indeed, Zywoo has been neutralized thus far in this game of Inferno. Again, control of Banana for Double Pony. Do they risk going through that smoke? Lucky is waiting with a second AWP. Of course, Afro is still towards along with the first one.
Yeah, of course, you don't have to control Banana to win the round, but if you do, you have the keys. So it's, you know, Vitality. They don't want to let that go, but it is not easy to try to take it back.
Oh dear. Well, Shock's the only man with Kevlar, of the 3 anyway. Was given the AK-47 earlier on. Collect the bomb in the smoke, and maybe there's an opportunity. But they'll see that smoke as... They'll see the bomb is gone once the smoke has dissipated. The alarm bells will ring. And I think he's banking on that, looking for a potential flank, which is not going to come just yet. They're being quite patient, actually.
Wow, he's going to give it a shot. And they both show face. James got startled by that second peek, dropped the pencil on the floor. And, yeah, again, it's It was pulled off the table.
Yeah, I was just trying to destroy the desk off camera. And I said I would do this as well.
He did mention that you would. That was
basically.
part of your plan. I'll give you the advice to sit on your court, and then this is what happens. 2 ops in play for Double Pony if it wasn't already hard enough.
4 rounds for Double Pony, either side of the 3 from Vitality. So does this mean Vitality go back on the scoreboard now? Answers on a postcard. Oh, look at the aggression from Afro. Just not expecting a player to be that deep.
Yeah.
Very rare you see that particular play down the stairs.
That, I mean, so Lucky had like a shallower peek, like from the top of the stairs before, and now you can see the confidence just coming up, and like, oh man, those are wonderful grenades. I mean, that's what powers up your M4s. The one-shot headshot. They find 1 kill at least. Oh my god, Kyojin Apex. The dynamic duo, they get 2. Lucky with a fantastic flick up to the right there. Obtuse into Shocks and has a spot where he can maybe find an extra kill and get some damage off in the leg. Afro gets one from behind and he can deny the plant. Oh my god! Bomb goes off into construction and Kyojin dies to Lucky. It is the reign of ops.
Absolutely beautiful. Saw it in my mind's eye. Low health. Who I see a HE on the hard, and there's Afro. That jump throw towards the default plant spot. Never even clicked mouse 1. And that's where he started. He started through apps and finishes off the job with Lucky towards the B bomb site. Double Pony in a flow of consciousness.
And that's actually a symptom of offhanding that smoke as well. If it denied all that information, maybe the HE doesn't come in right away.
Yeah,
maybe that player doesn't get tagged on the cross.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Just a couple centimeters, all you need in Counter-Strike these days.
Looks like it'll be a burst through the balcony. Again, they've had so much harassment with AWPs from there as well. 3-man on road. We'll see Apex move up with a flashbang. It is deployed, but NBK is ready for it. They've changed the pace, Double Pony, but there's the entry from Zywoo. He's got 2. And it may not matter that Double Pony were maybe expecting something more aggressive now. Changing up their intentions from round to round, but this time Vitality will still be successful.
Yeah, I like the call just because there's been so much Hall's aggression with those ops. I mean, I guess Double Pony are expecting like, all right, no way Vitality gonna try that again. We've literally killed them in alt by pushing down with these ops, so let's ease up on that. Let's go back to somewhere else they think they'd be, and then Vitality call it out and they go through with that pop. And I like the way that MBK played it. He got full flash, and it might have looked silly maybe from the stream's perspective, but in my opinion, that was a selfless way to do it because he pulls a lot of presence towards him. He takes a spray out, and then he crouches afterwards so he can't die. And that's supposed to slow them down, right? Get them really claustrophobic in the end of the halls, knowing that he could peek at any time, and then allow his teammate to actually take a duel. And it's selfless because now he gives up his position, but he also doesn't put the onus on himself to win the round. So either way, his teammate dies, and then they fall like a house of cards. But I like the idea. And we come into round 14-15 here with a similar buy, 2 ops, and probably the option for that again in the next round. Maybe not here if Vitality win it. So a chance to pull off a reasonable half, but of course the map is, I think, a bit T-sided at this level. Definitely very scary to play versus a good T team, and 6 won't feel great.
Got some brazen plays from Apex, makes his way towards long, and he's got Misuta on the way as well. In fact, there's plenty of them here. They've got to hold on to this bomb, though. Won't be able to do that. Will there be a trade frag from Boiler in the meantime? NBK just allowing them to go into a false sense of security. Deletions all over the A bomb site, and Double Pony are at double figures.
Totally vicious there. And that was such a disjointed run up through mid. They came through the smoke. 2 players got around Arch. They're like, yeah, I think we saw a couple of guys there. You guys deal with it. 2 extra players run through. Body's sitting in Boiler the entire time listening, with his ear to the wall, and then they have an Opper as well to stand in lane in a very safe spot to punish those last 2 players. So, with no smoke to help on lane, it felt like there wasn't much there going on for Vitality, even though the first 2 players who are rapping are like, man, we're making so much progress right now.
Seems a bit off the cuff, that one.
Yeah.
So maybe the real plan comes in on the CT side. Zywoo and Misuta with a combined 5 kills in 14 rounds.
Has to be noted.
again, looking for these early plays into the B bomb site this occasion. There are 2 players here for Double Pony. Make it 1. Lucky now. Very awkward positions for him with AWP, and Zywoo is angry. Multi-frag from him once again, but will it be enough this time?
Little crack in the smoke again, and a situation where there will be a retake. Oftentimes, you know, might find a spot where a team would save in this spot. Oh, in the nade! Bounces off the front of quad kills. Apex,
Shrapnel.
who could have just tucked behind it. They won't. They will refresh that position. It looks like Zywoo's gotten that spot. Afro, he has an opportunity to find a flick. Masuda goes down first.
Shox and Zywoo remain. There are diffuse kits on all these players. The pop flash, a swing. Zywoo's got another opportunity. He'll land the shots and Shox get the middle frag, and it will be 5 rounds for Vitality. A difficult half of Counter-Strike. What do they have to offer in the CT half? Find out after the break. Just as the first kill comes in, a little bit late in the pistol, but here we are. Looking good for Double Pony. Looking bad for Vitality. They're in need of 10 rounds to take it to, 11 rounds to take it to a 3rd map or Vertigo, and that's looking a little less likely at present, but they're not out of this pistol round just yet. Flash is deployed by the Pony squad, and it is Zywoo in the clutch now. Just shy of 60 HP, bombs being planted, gives him 1 versus 2. But he'll get absolutely deleted by Lucky. Looks like Zywoo might need a bit of coffee.
Where have we gone with this one? Vitality tried to get down mid really early, and you know that's a confidence play. Like you're like either it's a game plan just like it was for Double Pony, where they went up B fast and they thought maybe that was going to be the play, or they just wanted to be like, all right, let's just do this. We're very, very comfy. We've got this set up. Let's try to run it down mid. But of course, it can kind of look bad if you end up not getting those kills when you push with pistols. But you know, just because you sit in sights does not mean you're entitled to win rounds. Sometimes you have to push. And that's the correct play to make. Now they'll try it again, and it ends up working out a little bit better, it looks like.
Yeah, oh well. Not too shabby. It is recoverable for Double Pony. And this is maybe the situation that Vitality needed. But one of these bomb sites is going to have 1 player on it. It's up to Double Pony to flip the coin and figure out which one it might be, or guess, I suppose.
Yeah, I fear for them with Jocko alive. I mean, this guy can do anything. And it looks like they're in protection of the guns, which is an interesting game. I think the meta right now in this round is to think, okay, are the CTs going to try to collect the guns in alt? And if so, you know, is A maybe a little bit trickier to get to? And also, it's a complete blind gamble. It's just what site is going to be less overstacked. But Double Pony, I think, have made a sensible move. But they dropped the bomb at the top of Banana, so that must have been heard. Molly will come down. Rotation's a little bit delayed. Masuda doesn't find his first Deagle kill, but he is spotted and will eventually get it. Now, there's a chance for him to stop the plan entirely. He does that. Great work from Masuda. And the whole squad, to be honest, running down mid again, trying to keep that confidence high. But this time, meeting the confidence with the frags.
I'm a bit confused about the bomb drop there.
Yeah, I think they missed. Must have.
Yeah.
I think
that's just free information.
Yeah, that's just. I think that was just. They were like, "Ah, crap."
With two.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense there. Just a slight warning before the proceedings happened. Well, anyway, we've got a force buy from the Pony squad. So we'll see if they can exact revenge or if this is a chance for Vitality to finally stabilize, which I don't think we've really seen yet in this series. Maybe this is the round.
Yeah, and like even the pistol makes things testy because they're in critical territory at 11 rounds already, and in that nuke game in the second half, they got ecoed. So I'm sure Vitality don't feel infallible right now. Well, they get the CTs back with very low utility, and now there's going to be this period where the CTs have to judge whether or not they want to take another peek into mid, or if they're going to assume it's Banana. And for the meantime, there's a jump spot going on. No rotations here, and the trade does not come through. Masuda doesn't get his opening kill. Apex has the opportunity.
Oh boy.
One. Look at the HP, James.
And look at the positions as well. They've really got to hold on to the construction area here.
They could both get just mowed down by Zywoo here. Oh, he shoots it between them, and Jocko takes him out. He's got his hands free.
Yeah, the bomb has been planted. Body and Afro very low, but they've got positions around the bomb sites. Afro, the only man with utility here. That flashbang's not going to get thrown anytime soon.
He's trying to
He's
bait it,
smoke, and he spotted one. There's a trade frag from Shox, but he can't make it a 1 versus 1. And there's disaster around every corner for Vitality.
That's hard to watch. I feel like he needed to shoot that smoke. I mean, clearly he was phasing the smoke inside of Coffins. They knew he was there. Why not just shoot? You know, retaking from construction, it's a very common thing to do.
If we rewind though, was Masuta too greedy here on Banana? Because he was jumping around and got tagged and kind of held his position and kept jumping.
We got a blind spot here at Flashpoint. We like blind spots, but Masuda's blind spot was nothing to celebrate. He was jump spotting, but they were riding up the... Ooh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Just it changes the conversation
Double
with a frag like that.
I'm telling you, man, they've played so many maps, their percentages are pretty reasonable. I just feel like,
that's the thing.
they're going to be on fire.
They're at like 50% win rate on Inferno, but like their recent games have been total stomps. They've been like owning these lower level teams that they're playing against.
Yeah.
So they're feeling good. But yeah, Masuda was like jump spotting the half wall, and he just couldn't see that walk up. Missed one small timing, and then just that body shot Deagle came through. But yeah, that's what can happen.
Trying to bait out the counter utility. Maybe even more, trying to find out the makeup of Vitality in this round. Apex taking a little damage. There is the smoke deployed. Well, he's just seeing a little shoulder on the bomb site, so they know at least 2 players are towards this B bomb site. Could be more. Worst case scenario now on the A bomb site, they're 5 versus 2. But indeed it's 5 versus 1 because only Kyojin is here. Apex still over towards that B bomb site with 2 more, and there we go. Nothing else to be done.
Yeah, as crispy as Kyojin is, just the Deagle, one chance to shoot, and Jocko's just as sharp. At least today he's looking super strong. Very scary stuff. 13 rounds here, and they tower over Vitality in terms of rounds, in terms of confidence, in terms of maps won. They're literally now 3 rounds away from sending Vitality into the lower bracket. And as Monty brought up, I mean, it is a treacherous tournament to be in the lower bracket. So you've got to get into top 12 to get the points. And you start off at the bottom, having to play through so many games just to get into that, win zone and score some RMR points. No way. BK just hit that. Off the coffins through the smoke.
Oh man, they're really trying to take everything away from Vitality. Double Pony looking good. Well groomed,
Yeah. What's a comb? Like, what do you use to brush a
brush? Horse brush?
The brush, yeah, brush.
I guess so.
Sense, yeah. I would probably just use a broom because I wouldn't know what to do if I had a horse.
If you guys have got pony facts, feel free to send them through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to know anything about ponies because I just don't know anything. I just have nowhere to start.
And what happens when there are 2 ponies?
Is this a joke or?
Well, because it's double pony.
Oh, okay, right. I don't know.
My question is from a place of innocence, Launders.
I can have no. I mean, it usually isn't with you, to be honest, James. I'm going to call you out on this. Most people wouldn't. But yeah, no, I'm not sure where to go with that.
Exposed.
And Vitality, 2-3 setup. Nothing special here on the eco. Either site is primed for the taking for a double pony. They'll only mess this up by having bad spacing. That's about it. If they stick together, the plan is simple. As the Ludbuds would say.
Speaking of wallbangs, I really like the one from a CT perspective into apartments. So if somebody's jumped on a balcony and they're going through that door towards boiler, you can wallbang that from roughly where the crate is, like standing in the corner. That's a really sick wallbang. I haven't landed a kill there, but when I do, I'm going to be very pleased with myself.
Well, it'll be on Reddit, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
Clipped, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably your webcam upside down or something.
Well, Vitality are back on the bye, and I feel like we've been here before. They are up against it. Double Pony 2 away from a 2-0. It has to be now for Vitality. Zaiwu's been slowly coming to life with a few multi-frags here and there in desperate situations. Now he's got AWP. We need more from him. We've got HGs towards the sandbags, and will there be a trade? Looking for it. He's seen him fall off at least, and Masuta will somehow hold position and do even more. Very unlikely spot for him. High pressure, and finally he delivers, but is it too little too late?
Yeah, it might be. Those are some tailor-made frags, though. 3 X's on the spot. So the spacing was, just off enough that they forced 3 individual duels, but Masuta put them away. 36 HP left over, but most importantly is just alive and now reinforcing this bomb site with an extra player in Shocks. 2-on-4 situation. This would really be the icing on the cake for Double Pony if they're able to pull out a round like this. And you know what? It's not out of the realm of possibility because Masuta's low here and they're very close on the side. Shocks wide swings,
God.
And they know he's still here, but Masuta, he locks it up. All 5 kills, 10 HP left over, and there was no one else to help him.
That was a very difficult ace. An easier finish, but the start of that, holy hell, that was nightmare mode. Very impressive stuff from Masuta. Keeps Double Pony off of match points.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you go map to map and you can get 2 different players. On Nuke, he was really having a hard time, but now it looks a lot more comfortable, at least with that round. But yeah, without him there, that could have been a plant, and even that 2v4-1 from Double Pony. So is there any chance that Vitality bring this back? I'm almost out of it mentally. I'm not believing, and I wonder how Vitality feel, but you've got to give them some credit. They don't want to lose, and they've got nothing else to do today, so they might as well try their hardest.
That is quite the grenade. And they're looking for shadows. Oh, I do wonder. But no. 1 minute 20 for Double Pony. Really setting their own pace here. Chain flashes as they look to take top mid. So we were still creeping in the arch with the AWP.
Bombs all the way back there on steps.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on things with regards to Banana. But they're passive on the B bomb site Vitality. Oh, that's a nice flick from Zaiwu. Trying to hold on to long, falling back now. We've got a rotation from Apex. Vitality sensing that there will be issues here. Zaiwu's been dropped and it goes from bad to worse now. Kyojin deleted. All of a sudden, Double Pony back in control. They were patient. Now it's a 4 versus 2. Vitality could lose everything here. Apex is lurking, but Masuta is still on the B bomb site. They really can't afford to lose this rifle. I think he needs to back off.
Oh, man. Yeah, he's starting to run away now. But yeah, exactly correct here. That's nuts. Body, he just shows him another level there. Kyojin and Pit tries to come through with the shortest peak. He doesn't go wide or anything like that. Still just absolutely dumpstered. I thought Zaiwu made a big mistake there by shooting and then falling back, but he actually was being tricky, and he made it seem like he's rotating around the library, came back in for another peek, got a kill, but apart from that, there was nothing on the site hold. That's the only player who died, and Jocko. They were adequately staffed. They had 3 players here, and you see where they died. These are all very normal positions to hold. They just couldn't get the kills. But like at one point, are you know, how can you micromanage that? They've just got to be able to have enough cohesion to work together to at least, you know, surmise a little bit more than what they did. But Body getting both players without a trade should never happen, especially coming up lane on the A side of Inferno. It's one of the hardest sites to try the entry on, and one of the hardest paths to do it. But if there's a man for the job, it feels like on this team, it's Body. He has definitely had a resurgence since the last time we've really seen him play at this level on Double Pony.
2 French guns for Vitality. The FAMASs are out, and so is Apex out of this round, and maybe out of the match if this is to be the last round. Shots with the MP9 as well. We need some brilliant individual play from Vitality if they are to survive in this round. Afro has been barbecued, closed casket funeral for him. 4-4 as Vitality look to hold on to top mid. There will be challenges though as Double Pony make their way out of Boiler. NBK now showing presence on short, so big problems for Vitality. That will invite a potential rotation. You can see on the radar Shox is considering it, and now surely he has to commit. The bomb still on T-Ramp, Kyojin getting sprayed down as well. Forced to reposition, Joko creeping into the pit. This is utter dominance from Double Pony. Down they go one by one. Kyojin, surely he's going to die here. Indeed he is. Masuta now with an AK at the very least and a defuse kit. 1 versus 3. Had a difficult task, difficult job, difficult experience in this series thus far. They'll hit a tagging as well and follow it up, and there it is. 16-7, Double Pony all over Vitality. A complete stampede from start to finish.
Underdog story, except for the favorites, of course. That was a pretty impressive game from Double Pony for sure. I enjoyed watching that. For Vitality, that's going to be a hard one to digest, though. That's not a demo you want to watch, really. Too many things went wrong.
Absolutely. A very strong performance from Double Pony. I don't know what a pony stampede looks like, but
We're still on that.
Definitely painful for Vitality. Well, that's it for this series. Thoughts of the desk are coming up shortly, but first, a break. They will see you back here soon.
Crushed their joie de vivre, as it were. looking at here? Because this was, by all accounts, a stomp from Double Pony on Vitality's match after completely clapping them on Double Pony's pick of Nuke. We don't even get a third map in this series. Seems like there's not a lot of questions right now about who's the best French team.
No, there are not. Double Pony just ran over Vitality there. It was an absolute stampede, and Vitality just never looked comfortable. Double Pony, they kept pressuring Vitality, but sometimes it just felt like Vitality dug their own graves in some of these rounds. I mean, you're seeing right there a missmoke at CT. It felt like there were a couple lapses in the gameplay of Vitality, which we don't really expect given the success that they had in the previous year. You would think some of that system should be able to carry over.
Yeah, it really seemed like Vitality was struggling to get map control throughout the T side of Inferno, and I saw MBK duel